You know what time it is. You know what time it is.
How firm my friendship. Oh,
you know what time it is. Roll with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lames. Buckeyes by a billion. We in the building with over 100,000. We represent from the uttermost to the public housing. If we don't play, our wide receivers got your secondary shook, so they cook them like Bobby Flay. Hey, stay out of my way and trust me, cause I know it's OH. Somebody please give this brother an IO. Come on.
What up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boys, where we talk about college football with real fans. I'm Devin. Got a huge show scheduled for y'all tonight, man. It has been a grind this past week trying to get everybody all organized, reaching out to people, try to get them to come on here. Got a big-time list coming on tonight. Excited, had a couple cancellations. Kenyatta Senior's not going to be joining us. College Football with Sam's not going to be joining us. But everybody else on the list, we good to go, man. It's hate week, brother. The game is tomorrow. And I am absolutely stoked. Watching a little college football today. Went out, bought myself a new big old screen TV on the Black Friday sale. You can buy yourself a 75-inch TV for $380 at Walmart right now. I went and got two of them, put it up, bought some surround sound, so I'm all set up for the game tomorrow. I'm stoked. I am absolutely stoked. Y'all should be too. Appreciate you guys joining me tonight. It's the long haul tonight. Listen, I know Texas A&M. There's some other things going on tonight. But hey, you can keep this on while you're watching the game, man. Stay tuned. Hit that like button if you're in here already. Hit the subscribe button as well. Tonight's the night for Super Chats, guys. So you got questions for guests coming on, put them in there. We'll love the support. I didn't get the time to think about where it's going to go, but, you know, all Super Chats, I'm going to do something with them. I'm going to be blessing somebody with them. I know it's not really the best to not have that figured out beforehand, but you guys know how I operate here on the Buckeye Boys channel and on Scoop. So you just have to trust me that your Super Chats will go somewhere very good. I promise they will. There's going to be some trivia questions tonight for the $50 holla. I literally almost thought about asking a trivia question to win a 75-inch TV, but didn't get around to that. I think the shipping would become a problem too. But yeah, guys, I see you guys getting in the chat awful early. Here's the lineup, right? Here we go. B. Moses should be joining us here shortly. Sports Talk Jay will be coming on around 7:15, then around 7:30. Dalton from PFF should be joining us. Then around 8, Nevada's going to be coming on. 8:15, Justin Spiro is coming on. You're going to want to stick around for that. 8:45, Maze Madman and Funky should be joining us. At 9, Brett Getz with SFE is coming on. At 9:15, Intrinsic is coming on. At 9:30, Duke is coming on. And then I missed one. See, I told you guys, this is harder than what you think. I'm telling you, trying to get all these guys organized, get the times down, all of it, send the links out. It's difficult. Let's see what we got. Daniel Sanchez at 8. All right, perfect. Here we go. Let's see. Ohio's Tate is coming on as well. Pretty sure I just booked like 5 people at 8 p.m. I did. This isn't good. Well, that's all right. We'll get it figured out. Ohio's Tate coming on at 8:02. He's only got time to come on for like 5 minutes. But tonight's not, guys. We're going to dive into it. We're going to hear a lot of perspectives about this game. Obviously, a lot of emotions attached to this game. Before we do that, Sean Rawlings, thank you so much for the $20, man. Appreciate it. I really do, Sean. You've been around the channel for quite some time. You've supported me everywhere I went. So thank you, man. God bless you, brother. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Hope everybody had some good leftovers today. I know I did. I have eaten leftover ham all day long. That's what I've eaten. but you don't see me complaining. I absolutely love it. But anyway, a lot of emotions attached to this game. It's been weird because we know the cheating scandal. We know how the other side operates. We know their morals, their ethics, and kind of what they're about. Then you have their fans coming out of the woodworks right now, mocking that Ohio State and Michigan State are the only ones in the Big Ten with vacated wins, and they keep mocking it. So it's really hard to keep it about football when they take it to that level so many times. So it puts so much more emotion into this game. And I was just downstairs talking to my little brother, who, by the way, I want to remind people, his first Ohio State game ever, his first college football game ever, I took him to the Cotton Bowl last year. I don't know if you guys remember or not what happened at the Cotton Bowl last year, but can you imagine that being your first Ohio State game you ever attend? He's addicted now. Yeah, that's what I mean. Lack of morals and values, Patrick. You guys know what I mean. He's addicted to college. He's addicted to Ohio State football now. So he was sitting downstairs telling me, he was like, Devin, I just have this feeling that we are absolutely going to smash them tomorrow. And I was like, hey, I feel you. And that's honestly how I feel. And no, it's not like last year. No, it's not. Last year, I had a lot of confidence, but you can go back a year to my stream before. I said on here, hey, a lot of confidence, but I'm just worried about this toughness thing. I'm worried that Ryan Day, this coaching staff, are going to want to look tough. I said it over and over again. I just didn't come on here afterward and say I told you so because I was so mad already. But I don't have that fear this year, like at all. If I sit and think about it and dive into it, there might be a little bit of fear in there somewhere. But, with everything that has happened from last year, there's shows on Amazon Prime. There's books being written. There's a lot of things that occurred in Ryan Day's life and then this Ohio State program because of the outcome of the game last year. So that's a hard lesson to learn. Okay. And in my life, I don't know about y'all, but when I have to face the consequences to my actions, that's when I learn the best. And let's keep it real. Ryan Day faced some pretty serious consequences. Should he have? No. He shouldn't have to have security at his house, people threatening his life, all that. That's absolutely ludicrous. That's way too far. That's just insane. But it's still something he had to face. And that's going to ingrain a change inside of you regardless. When you face stuff like that in life, it's going to change you. And this Buckeyes team with Julian saying, Cornell Tate's good to go. Jeremiah Smith's good to go. Confirmed that again today. So we're all rocking and rolling. Yeah, man, I'm excited. This defense is pumped up. Sonny Styles, Arvell Reese, Caleb Downs. I just love it. There's a quiet confidence about this team right now. We keep hearing inside the Woody. It's just a different vibe this year. It's a different vibe that these Buckeyes are feeling this year, that they're having. When you hear Ryan Day talk, I feel the same way. So things are just going a little bit differently, guys. And I'm all about my score prediction still. 34-10 Buckeyes, good guys. And I figure they're going to hit 10 with our second string defense in. That's where I'm at. And I'm sticking to that. And I'll tell everybody that comes on the stream today that as well. But our first, he's not even a guest. We got B. Moses in the building, about to pull him up. B. Moses, you give me the thumbs up when you're ready to rock and roll. But before you come in here, B. Moses, I just want you to know it's very intense in here. It's really high energy going on. So I don't know if you ate your Wheaties today, but it's big time in here. We're not playing in this chat. Okay, he said bring it on. What up, B?
What's up, man? All this intense talk and heated talk, man, go on somewhere. I hope some Scum fans are in the comments. I'm ready for y'all. What's up, bro? How you feeling?
I want him to come in, man. Dude, I was just telling the chat, I'm feeling good. I was just sitting down, just bought myself a new TV and surround sound to watch the game tomorrow. And
nice.
I'm sitting down there with my little brother. And, ever since the Cotton Bowl, that was his first Ohio State game ever, by the way. He's been a little bit addicted to Ohio State football. First time in his life, first time ever. He just sitting down there and he keeps sending me things. Trolls are putting videos on X. He sends those all to me. He sends me the hype videos. So he's into it. he was like, dude, I have a feeling these Buckeyes are just about to smash Scum tomorrow. And I was like, bro, I really feel the same way. And what I was telling people is, I didn't feel like that last year. Not as confident as I am this year, because last year, I mean, post game when I did this live stream, I said my only concern is Ryan Day and this toughness thing, is that he gets stubborn and tries to run the ball too much. Like, I said that. People know I said that. I do not have that fear this year because of everything that Ryan Day has been through as a result of that, of the outcome of that game. I'm not worried about whose fault it was. Was it the game plan? Was it the players? Not about that. Just the fact that we lost in that manner. Ryan Day faced some serious consequences, and that's going to change you. And I think that this year he's getting these players ready. The game plan's ready. Everybody's healthy. I'm just feeling it, B. Moses. What about you?
Yeah, man. I mean, we've said this ad nauseum. And I'm gonna say it again. I think last year's game is going to be the gift that keeps on giving. The players agree. Just people with just insight into the game agree that as abysmal as that game was, it really helped to propel this team into a whole nother level. Because the last season we were all waiting for this team to come together. All the talent we had, we just didn't quite see the level that we saw finally in the playoffs. And y'all know those who have been living life on any level. If you've been through anything, I mean, I can give you just so many testimonies of setbacks that became comebacks. You know, somebody tap your neighbor and say, glory to God. You know what I mean? Like testimonies.
Yeah.
Like that whole situation, as terrible as it was, go watch the Redemption documentary. I mean, that whole situation, it's one of those things where, no, we're not happy it happened. Ryan Day's not happy it happened. The players, if they had a choice, they would probably say we would rather win that game. But stuff happens. Decisions are made. Mistakes are made. Shortcomings are had. But how do you bounce back from it, right? How do you respond to the test? And so they responded with flying colors. Now we're full circle here. And that game last year can be pulled on again to say we're never going to let that happen again, from a coaching staff to the players. We know the mistakes we made, and we are going to right the wrongs of those mistakes. And my score, I got 34-16. I think they're going to squeak out some field goals in the end. And they got a good kicker. They'll get a few field goals, but I think we're going to tempo. We're going to move the ball on them. We're going to throw the ball on them, which will open up the run. They're going to try to play that cover 3 soft coverage. They're going to try to, play zone and bring some zone blitzing off the zone look. They're going to switch it up. Wink Martindale is going to try and confuse Julian Sand. Which side are they playing cover 2 on? And I mean, it's going to be a nice scheme in theory, but Julian Sand has been playing against the best defense in the country for an entire season and the smartest, sharpest, most experienced D coordinator in the country. So there's nothing he has not seen, okay? And Julian Sand, I'll say this and then I'll pass the mic back. Look, my confidence in this young man is just through the roof. And hearing Jeremiah Smith, did y'all see, Dev, did you see the video where he came out, Big Ten Network? He was revealing that he knew Julian Sand was like that, like a grip ago, but he didn't want to go out into the public and say it because he didn't want to step on Will Howard's toes. But he came out and said, listen, that boy like that. He's been like that. So, I just say that to say my confidence in Julian, my confidence in Ryan Day being renewed from that loss and everything that came after it, my confidence in Matt Patricia and this defense. This is why we're confident. The years before don't matter. Last year's debacle, we're not going to beat ourselves again. It's just not going to happen. And so I know Katz is nervous. This is the game. I'm going to be nervous when the game first starts because that's just what it is. But right now, I feel great, Dev. Great.
Yeah. I absolutely love it. And before, the show, I said there just seems to be a little bit different feeling this year because the punishment came out, right? So, but we knew they were cheating in these other previous, 4 games that we've played, but it's always like we had that reservation that, hey, they're going to get what they deserve. Well, now it came out and they did not get what they deserve. They got a slap on the wrist. So the only other way we can do that is on the field, right? The Buckeyes need to do that on the field. So I think there's that extra motivation as well. And it's been interesting to see the national media talk about this game that aren't Buckeyes. They aren't scum. They don't root for either, but they're leaning the Buckeyes' way. And I'm wondering how much of the rest of college football nation feels like this, feel like, hey, these guys need to get what they deserve. The NCAA didn't do their job, right? The Buckeyes need to come in and do what the NCAA should have done, and they need to smash them into the ground, right? Thanks for the $4.99, boo-boo. Connor Steins posted a video talking crazy. That speaks right into this stuff. When you have this clown who spit in the face of all of college football, ruined people's lives, people who have kids and stuff, ruin their life, doesn't care at all, laughs about it, mocks people about it, does all these things. Yes, it is that serious. Yes, that's the truth. This isn't stretching by any means, but we got a guest below who I know has a lot to say about this. I'm thrilled he came on. I know a lot of you Buckeye fans requested that he come on. He was pretty open during this whole sign stealing investigation about his thoughts. Well, now it's time. I think it's time for the rubber to meet the road where, hey, the Buckeyes are the team here that need to give these guys what they deserve. I want to hear what Sports Talk Jay has to say about it. I don't know you guys. You guys want to hear what Sports Talk Jay has to say?
Hey, that's my guy.
Because I do. Sports Talk Jay, what's up, brother?
What's up, guys?
What's up, man?
Oh,
Good
you
to
know.
see
Yeah.
you. It's been a minute, man.
Yeah, it has. I think my internet's a little slow. We've got so many people in town up here in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. It's crazy. That's why I'm probably moving a little slow on here. But can you hear me good?
Yeah, you sound good, look good, everything. So on our end, it's fine. At least for me, I don't know how you see him, Dev, but you look good over here.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Just in
Not a
case
good
there's
deal.
a little lag, we'll be patient with you. But Sports Talk Jay, I don't know if you heard me what I was saying before you came on, but right, I feel like there's a little emotion in this. How do you feel about? Did you hear what I said first off before I came on? My speech I was given about. I don't feel like they got what they deserved, and this is an opportunity for the Buckeyes to give this team what they deserve, a little bit of it anyway, and that's smashing them on the field. Sports Talk Jay, give me your thoughts, man, on that, the national perspective. What are your thoughts on this game coming up?
So you thought 6 level 1 violations didn't deserve just a slap on the wrist and a fine? I mean, are you crazy? I mean, come on.
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see any problem with cheating an entire conference and then cheating outside of a conference. I don't see any problem with that at all. I mean, the NCAA doesn't exist anymore, obviously. I think we know that. And they've got to go down. They have to. And I'm hoping what you guys do is exactly what we did to the Florida Gators and put about 28 straight points on them, or 31 actually, and vanquish them like we did. The Gators have had our number for a long time, and Michigan, of course, totally turned this thing on its head, where you guys had won 16 out of 17. It really wasn't much to talk about. And then little Connor showed up and changed the dynamic pretty dramatically. Yep. And Michigan, they got this law school up there. You know, I used to have a lot of respect for Michigan, University of Michigan. I don't understand at all how the people, the head people up there said, this is okay. You know, we're just going to fight this and we're not going to accept responsibility. I don't get that as an adult. I don't get that. You know, when I was 25, I would understand it, but not in my 50s, because those things matter. Your reputation matters. So I'm pretty disappointed in Michigan, and I think that's being extremely kind on my part. And I would like to see Ohio State just really run the score up a little bit and put them out of their misery. They're trying to, I guess they think they're going to get in the playoff at 9-2, and maybe they pull off a miracle and get in, but y'all need to take them down. You've got the offense and the defense to do it. You got the number one defense in the country.
Yeah.
And Julian Sands at 79% completion rate, just let him dink and dunk all the way down that field, because they're going to play that 2 safety high, like you said, and just dink and dunk and just run the ball on them and then finish them off. And that's what we had to do to Florida. The exact same thing. They played 2 safety high, and we just dinked and dunked down there 4 straight touchdowns. So that's what I'd like to see y'all do. And this Bryce Underwood put a ton of pressure on him, and I think he's going to struggle. He's only got, 9 touchdowns all year. You know, the $11 million guy. He's going to try to run on you. Stop him from doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I'll respond to that, man. It's funny you mentioned the run thing. We, in the information we got from Buckeye Scoop Board, the defense, Ohio State defense is expecting Q runs from Bryce. They're expecting him to run the ball, not just on scrambles, but on Q draws and Q powers and stuff like that. And I hope he does. Oh, sweet Jesus, I hope he does, because Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs, McDonald, all them boys are going to meet him with a nice little fruit basket there in the big blouse. But no, listen, Jay, I'm being a little conservative with my score just because, you know, it's the game. But you know what vibes I'm getting from this, y'all? And I don't know if you remember this. I know you're down in Tennessee, and you probably don't follow this game as closely. I'm getting 2015 vibes, where we went up to Ann Arbor and beat them 42-13. We had just lost to Michigan State at home. And remember, we had Bosa, Ezekiel Elliott. It was the year after the national title win. And we lost to Michigan State at home. And we went up to Ann Arbor and whooped them 42-13. I'm getting those vibes. Like, it was just domination. But I'm being a little conservative, 34-16, just because I'm being a little nervous. But we're going to win the game. I just think it's going to be minimum that score, but possibly more. And so I just can't see how they're going to consistently move the ball. Like, there's only so many flea flickers. There's only so many trick plays you can pull out your back end. You know, outside of the true freshman, Marsh, who's a good player, but he's a true freshman, none of their weapons scare me. Marshall doesn't scare me. If Justice Haynes was playing, he's a really good player. Okay, bet. He's not playing. Nobody on their offense really scares me. And so how are they going to consistently move the ball on our defense, man? Dev, that's just really my question. That's my number one confidence factor, Jay, in this team, is this defense with Matt Patricia going up there. That's it. Not even Julian saying I'm excited about him. But our defense, bro. Defense travels, and it will travel up to the big blouse tomorrow.
It always does. Go ahead, Dev.
Yeah. Sports Talk, Jay, I want to get your opinion on this here. Ryan Day in the Rose Bowl. First, last year we went out to Autzen, lost in a heartbreaker. Then it comes playoff time, and we go to the Rose Bowl, and Ryan Day is known for saying, hey, this game doesn't have to be close. It doesn't have to be. Everybody's talking like it's going to be close. It doesn't have to be close. Well, we saw the result of that game. What was it? 34-0. It might have been more than that. I forget now, but it was a lot to nothing in that game. Sports Talk Tape, from the outside looking in, right? I know you got a little hate towards Scum, rightfully so, maybe dislike. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but when you look at Ohio State and when you look at Scum, do you think this game has to be close? A lot of people want to say, hey, Ohio State's way more skilled, but you throw that out during a rivalry game. I don't believe that. I think there's some times where you do throw it out. Obviously, last year in this example of that. But that doesn't mean you have to throw it out. If you have a team that's way more skilled, just a way better team than the other team, this game doesn't have to be close. Sports Talk Jay, what's your thought on that? And sorry, I keep calling you Sports Talk Jay. I just need to start saying Jay. I don't know why I keep saying that. I sound like an idiot.
That's good branding. Good branding. He's got it in our head.
I said it 20 times in 5 minutes. Jay, go ahead.
Yeah. If I'm Ohio State, I'm going into this ultra confident because Julian Sands is really good. And you've got the two probably the best wide receivers in the country, Jeremiah Smith and Tate. I mean, and the number one defense, I'm sitting here going, and they're limited at their quarterback position. I mean, he doesn't scare me at all. Not at all. He's a great athlete, but he's a true freshman. Your defense is going to confuse him to no end. I think the key is to take the crowd out of this thing. If you guys can jump out in front early, 14-3, 10-0, something like that, and take the crowd out and take all of this nonsense out of the air. And that's what's required to do that. You know, if they're in there in the third quarter, this thing can get creepy on you real quick. And then you got to sit here and think, if nothing else, you've got to shut up Dave Portnoy. I mean, that just has to happen.
Yes.
That guy,
Yes.
I mean, he is the obnoxious level that he wears this game out as if it was done fair and square and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, they hadn't lost all those games out of 17. It's ridiculous. And he must be hushed. He must be, if nothing else happens out of this. And if you beat him by 2 touchdowns or more, that'll shut him up.
You think, though? I just don't think so. I think it'll take some. I think it'll take some ammunition out of his gun. But that's what he's built his business on: is being a troll, is being just going out saying the most outlandish things. I mean, look, he's on the Big Ten Network now, and the only shtick that he has is not knowledge of the game. It's every single time he's on the screen, it's talking trash about Ohio State. Like, that's the only thing he has. He doesn't bring anything else to the national media but that. Go look at his social media posts. That's all it's been all year, not just this week. That is the only thing he does. So, I mean, if he stopped doing that, you weren't going to see him anymore. That's the only thing he does. He doesn't do anything else. So I just think that, it'll change what he says, right? And we can have some more things to come back at, but that's his business. But I couldn't agree with you more about, I mean, yeah, he needs to be kept quiet. I mean, it's just like, here's the thing. It's just like everybody just forgets what they did. Not everybody does, but I understand why that is, because it almost sounds like you can almost convince yourself it sounds like you're just complaining or making excuses. But it's the truth, right? It was the biggest cheating scandal in all of football. That's what they did. That's who they are. And then Bryce Underwood coming out, all the stuff he's been saying. Jay, did you watch the video of Bryce Underwood absolutely clowning Scum before he committed there? Have you ever seen that?
I didn't follow his. I knew he was committed to LSU.
Yeah.
And then,
so let me tell you what he did.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so he's in an interview, and they say, hey, why did you choose LSU over your home state? And he goes on, talks about LSU and how they're good at developing quarterbacks. And then he goes, and at Michigan, and he doesn't say anything. And everybody on the set starts laughing. He's clowning them for their lack of development at the QB position. And then they go and pay $13 million, and he's their savior. He's thrown 9 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, doesn't even have a 2-to-1 ratio. So, yeah, there's so many things about this that, man, we need to go in there. We need to shut a lot of people up. Should have done it last year. Didn't do it. But it's a different day. It's a different time. Ryan Day is a different coach. So I got a lot of confidence going into it. And obviously, I mean, I don't think anybody else has been in a better position to give them at least some type of what they deserve for what they did. I don't think a lifetime of losing to us would be make anything they did right. But still, B. Moses, what you got?
Yeah. Don't forget about the Ohio State is finished comment that he made. I guess he told LeBron James, or he met him somewhere.
Yeah.
Ohio State is finished. This kid has been running his mouth in typical Team Up North fashion since the beginning. But like Dev said, don't forget that this kid on 2 occasions, that was just one that Dev mentioned. There was another occasion where he took a jab because basically there was, I guess, pressure and questions coming up about him staying in his home state, to play at the Team Up North. And he just kept bucking it, Jay. Basically, like, quarterback development, but when they dump that bread on him, it's like, you know how it is. Like, I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse. And he couldn't refuse it. And so now all of a sudden, you best development, program in the country, baby. Now that the direct deposit is hit, it's a joke. It's been a joke from the very beginning. So with that said, listen, man, listen. Portnoy is not going to shut up. You're right, Dev. But I don't care if he doesn't shut up. It'll be scoreboard. It'll be scoreboard, and that's just it. You can say whatever you want to say. But this is what the Team Up North fans are doing, y'all. In the chat, everybody watching. They're clinging to the hope of rivalry juju, the psychological factor. If we can just hold on, another miracle psychological win like last year, which was basically what it was. Something went wrong, and then things got tight. Something else went wrong. Things got tight. Will Howard throws a freaking interception, and the Team Up North is at their own 5-yard line for their only score of the game, and things just piled on. And so they're hoping and wishing for Ryan Day to not be cured of the psychological issue that occurred last year. And we're telling them, Jay, listen, this dude, players are telling them, coaches, anybody around the program are like, listen, this cat is a different cat since that Team Up North loss last year. He's been changed by it. And there's fruit and evidence. If you look at the games, we blew everybody out on the way to a natty. Sorry, Jay. I know Tennessee was a part of that brigade, but no offense. But the point is, y'all saw the results of a changed man coming off of that abysmal loss. And we've been seeing him walk the walk this entire season. And now this is the full circle cherry on top to really confirm that. And so I'm just telling y'all, Team Up North fans, they're not really confident for real because they think they're better than us. Their confidence just lies in, oh, we can just get magic from last year. Like, you know, the pressure of the psychological factor is still there. And that's our hope. Well, we're saying that's no longer a hold on us. And we're going to show that tomorrow. This team is going to go up there and handle business. And I'm excited about it, fellas.
Yeah, I can see that. If I'm Ohio State, I want to get that ball in Jeremiah Smith's hands pretty early on, even if it's just a little quick thing, just to get his juices flowing into the game, because he really can't guard the guy. You've got Bo Jackson, you've got Carnell Tate. You know, I'm getting the ball in their hands early on. Just get them in the right mindset and get them involved heavy right from the get-go, and then just let your defense do what it does. My only concern with Ohio State is just you've had so many games where you were so heavily favored that you haven't been really tested enough. That's my only concern going into the game, is that, you know, you hadn't played enough tight games because you keep beating the hell out of everybody. And, you know, you're playing teams that you're 4 touchdowns better than in every game, it feels like. I mean, every time I pick you guys or don't pick you, it's only because of the point spread. So that would be my only concern. But going in, I mean, you're in the playoffs now. This game, the next game, so you're in the playoffs. So now it's just time to let it rip. And you're undefeated, so it really technically doesn't matter if you lose any of the next 2 games, but you don't want to. So just consider it playoff and just go into that playoff mindset and try to recreate exactly what you did last year. You know, tell the guys, hey, we need you in the mindset you were in those last 4 games, and you should be fine. But can you know, you've got enough guys there that it shouldn't be a problem that did that.
Yeah, it's I hear what you're saying, right? The national media's brought that up. I don't know if I have scarlet glasses on in this take or not, but the whole, I guess, not the lack of competition, but the lack of being in those tight moments. I mean, I think any team in the nation, when you don't experience that, fans are going to wonder, hey, I wonder what they're like in that. But in this game, I don't even think there needs to be that moment. There doesn't have to be. That's why we keep talking about. That's why you brought up, hey, this thing needs to be over by the third quarter. You know, if you find yourself in the third quarter and it's a little close and the crowd's in the game, that's when it could possibly become a game. But this Buckeye team, I mean, they went out to Washington, broke a 22-game a home game win streak. You know, weren't blowing them out by halftime, and you know, they've done what they should be doing to their opponents as the number 1 team in the nation, right? They've done their part. They've come out and essentially scrimmaged the last 3 games very clearly, rotating in and out, trying new things, and still beating teams 42-9. But I totally get the wondering, hey, what are these Buckeyes going to do if they're under a lot of pressure? The Texas game, I mean, it was 14-0. I didn't feel like there was a lot of pressure during that game, but that was a big time game for Julian Sayin to come into as his first start, right? Texas, a lot of people's preseason number one. They're playing Texas A&M right now. They've seen that's a very good defense to go up against. Scored 14 points, didn't turn the ball over. So, yeah, I understand that a little bit. B. Moses, you got any response to that? We do have Dalton Wasserman from PFF waiting below. So, Sports Talk Jay, after this, we'll get your final words and go from there. B. Moses?
Yeah, real quick. I just wanted to say something before I get on that real quick. So, Ryan Day, he arrived in Ann Arbor. He was interviewed. For those wondering, Carnell Tate did make the trip. We've been telling y'all they're both playing. They're both playing. He didn't come out and say Tate's playing because some people are saying, well, he didn't say that. Listen, kids don't make the trip if they're ruled out before the game. They usually don't travel. And he also said they're excited, talking about Jeremiah Smith and Tate. They're playing. Okay. So just want to put that out there. But yet, Jay, quickly to your point about the not tested, it's just funny, man. And listen, this ain't a knock on you. That's a fair, thought from your perspective. But it's funny, like this whole season, like Dev brought up Washington, there were multiple analysts picking Ohio State to get upset or to struggle with that 22-game win streak. We see what happened there at Illinois. There were people talking about it was going to be a struggle. I mean, it's just funny that going into certain games this season, we were supposed to struggle or maybe lose, and we just blew everybody out in an efficient fashion. So it's almost like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. It's like if you struggle, and then okay, well, you've been tested because you struggle with a lesser team. So yeah, but if you handle business like you're supposed to, you get punished. So it's tough. Here's the bottom line, y'all, and I'm gonna close this out. To your point, Jay, the bottom line is this. Tomorrow, I think we'll learn a lot more about this team, right? This is going to be the toughest game we play all season, right, Jay? On the road, hated rival. We've dropped the last few. Julian Sayin in his biggest game as a Buckeye or ever in his life because of the platform and stakes. We're going to find out tomorrow. I guess I'm simply saying that I believe this team is going to show and prove what we've all known this entire season. And they'll continue to do that. But that's all I got.
Yeah.
Sports Talk, Jay.
Giant game except for the Texas game. Go ahead, Dev.
Yep.
Hey, dude, I appreciate you coming on, Jay. What's your response to that? Your final words? We'll get Dalton on here.
Yeah, I'm excited for the game. I really am. It's the one thing that Connor Stalions has brought to me is an appreciation of this rivalry that I didn't have prior to a few years ago. And I'm excited for the game. I mean, I'll be watching this intently. And I want to see what Ohio State's defense does with Michigan. I want to see how the crowd reacts and all. I mean, it should be really fun. And I know down deep, y'all got to be excited as hell.
Oh yeah.
This is a get you pumped up game. So anyway, I'm looking forward to watching it.
Hey, Jay, we appreciate you, man. Yeah, for sure. You're always welcome on this channel. Well, he said thanks for inviting him. Always, man. It's been awesome. Appreciate you so much taking the time out of a Friday night coming on here. We'll catch you next time, Jay.
Appreciate you, brother.
Fellas.
Stay blessed. All right, guys. We got Dalton down below. Going to bring him up now from PFF. Dalton, what's up, brother? How are you?
What is up, Dev? How you guys doing?
Doing pretty good, man. Hey, dude, I like you wearing that Jets hat, huh? I almost said I like it. I can't say I do, but hey, I appreciate you supporting your team, dude.
Hey, trust me, it gets harder and harder to do it every week and every year, but we got to eventually something's going to work. Maybe we get one or two of your guys from Ohio State in the next with these 5 first-round picks in the next 2 years. Maybe we dip into Columbus and get into that. Some of that. It worked with Garrett Wilson. Maybe we just got to get a few more of them.
Yeah, there we go. Dalton, obviously, man, tomorrow at noon, it's going down. The number 1 team against their rival, against the team that I like to remind everybody committed the biggest cheating scandal in all of sports ever. But that's not what this show's about. It is a little bit. But anyway, you've watched Ohio State. You're a big fan of Julian Sayin. You're a big fan of this offense, this defense. I've seen all your shows over on PFF. We're stacked and loaded. the other team, Bryce Underwood, first-time starting quarterback. They got Andrew Marsh coming on a little bit. They're not as tough in the trenches like they were last year. Tell us, man, what's your thoughts on this game, wherever you want to start?
I think honestly at this point, the records and the talent difference, all that doesn't matter, right? You're talking about an Ohio State team that is trying to break this losing streak to Michigan. They got to go into the big house fittingly enough to do it. And look, the stakes could not be any higher when you talk about Ohio State still really needs to win this game in order to secure 100% a chance at a Big Ten title, and then obviously to stay the number one team in the country, get a shot against most likely Indiana next week. And on the Michigan side of it, they're number 15 right now, I believe it is. And you're talking about a team that if they win this game, and there's a lot of conversation between about number 9 and number 14, 15 in these rankings, but I got to think beating the best team in the country right now would vault them ahead of Vanderbilt, right, or a Utah or Miami. It would be the best win in the country by anybody because no one else has done it. Really, nobody else has really come close. So I don't think the stakes could be any higher, and honestly, I think you're going to get an absolute war.
B, what you got?
Yeah, what's up, dog? Nice to meet you, man. First time you've been on the show before, right?
Yeah, one other time.
Yeah, great job, and you do a great job, man. And somebody said in the chat that you're their go-to for stats. Same, man. You bang out the stats, man, on another level. So I appreciate you for that. With that said, I wanted to ask you. So I know you predicted a closer game than your partner in crime. I think he did 34-17 or something like that. And you was like, whoa. So let me ask you specifically. I know you got your stats and you got your, last year's game, just team to team. If Ohio State comes in and plays their best game, do you think it'll still be a close game?
I think if they were to come in and play their absolute best game like they've played in a lot of games this year, obviously against, you guys were talking before about lesser opponents, then I do think it could get maybe into that 10-14 range. But I'm also expecting Michigan, especially their defense, to come out and play their best game. I really do. I think, they got a scare against Northwestern 2 weeks ago, but they bounced back against Maryland and look really good. And the biggest thing for me is it's actually, and you know me, I'm as big a fan of Julian Sand as anybody. He's been the most accurate quarterback in the country this year. But you're talking about a really talented defense, maybe only a tiny step back from the team that they had last year with those first-round picks on the D-line, but they're still really good. And you're talking about still a redshirt freshman quarterback has to go into the big house and has to face an NFL-type defensive coordinator in Wink Martindale, right? I think the one thing for me with Ohio State is I like the improvement they've made running the ball. This is the type of game you want to avoid obvious passing situations, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9s, because for as great as Sayan has been, and he's still my Heisman favorite right now, it's a different defense, I think, than the closest thing is really Texas in week 1 when you talk about Pete Kwiatkowski and everything he can do. But I think this might be actually his toughest challenge defensively with the defense across from him that he's faced this year. So I think Michigan's defense could definitely keep them in this.
Yeah, Dalton, for me, it's curious you say that because you got one side of it that you can say, hey, this game could be closer than we think because it's a rivalry. But it sounds like what you're saying is even if you take that out of the equation, you believe that Scum has a good enough team to hold up there with Ohio State. I mean, when you look at, I call him Scum. That's just what I'm going to keep calling him. You look at their schedule, 30-27 Nebraska. You brought up the Northwestern game. You look at the Purdue game, 21-16. You look at the USC game. You watched what USC did to them. It's 31-13. The game wasn't even that close when I was watching it. And you look at Ohio State, compare them to USC as far as offensively, good quarterback, good receivers. You watched how they picked apart, right, this Scum defense. And it makes you wonder, right, are you more saying it because it's a rivalry, or do you believe that Scum does have that potential to play on that level regardless whether it's a rivalry or not? Is that what you're saying, or correct me if I'm wrong?
I think they do have enough talent, like I said, especially defensively. I worry about their offense, but some of those losses they've had and close games they've had have been on the road, right? And it feels like they just haven't played as well offensively on the road. And it's also a matter of, and this is why, to me, Ohio State's run game is actually a big factor, because especially if you go back to that USC game, USC really beat them on the ground, and we weren't expecting that, but they were the more physical team in that game. I think a big X factor for me is what I've seen the last 4 games from Ohio State's run game. They've been top 10 in a ton of our rushing metrics across across the board, and the emergence of Bo Jackson in the backfield, I think could make a big difference in this game. If there's something like earlier in the season, say a month and a half ago, that I might have been worried about in this matchup was, is Ohio State too one-dimensional? Okay, so they've beaten some bad teams with the run game lately. I actually like that they had to struggle a little bit with Rutgers last week without the top two receivers and lean on Bo Jackson and James Peoples and this run game. If Ohio State comes out and shows that same level of balance, then I think Michigan's going to have a hard time really keeping up. But I want to see if that plays up in this kind of surge we've seen from the run game against the best defense that they've seen over the last month.
Dude, that's an interesting take. This is why I love doing this show every year, bringing so many different people on, because for Ohio State fans, Dalton, I'm going to tell you something. But for me, my biggest worry last year, I came on this same show, right, that I did last year and said, hey, my number one worry is this toughness thing, right, that Ryan Day brings to this game every year about winning the rushing battle. I am not a fan of saying whoever wins the rushing battle is going to win this game, because a more important stat is whoever scores the most points wins this game 100% of the time. And when you have Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, and one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the nation, for me, I could care less whether Ohio State is able to run the ball well or not. Why? Because I know that they can come out, right, and their passing attack is unstoppable. I mean, I haven't seen a team stop their passing attack when we're 3rd and 5, even 3rd and 10. Those quick outs, I haven't seen anybody stop those. We got Max Clare as a tight end as well. I do understand we do need to be able to rush the ball, but from an Ohio State fan's perspective, from my perspective, if we come into this game thinking, hey, we need to be able to rush the ball good, I think that could trap us. That could get us playing the style of football. Scum wants to slow this game down, right? That's what they want to do. I mean, if you get this, Ohio State team playing fast with the weapons we have on the outside, the game could be over fairly quickly. But if Ohio State comes out playing their game with the most accurate quarterback in the nation, arguably the top 2 wide receivers in the nation, right, that's going to loosen this defense up. They're going to have to go to 2 high safeties. They're going to back up, and that's when you can start tacking on the ground. At least that's my mindset. Might have a little bit to do with what we saw last year. But I love your take. I love listening to other people's takes in this game. I don't follow that take so much as the rushing attack being a big part of this game, man. I just don't. It almost scares me to think about that, because I just don't want us to rely on that when we have these weapons, man. I just don't.
No, I don't think they have to be necessarily run first. Like, oh, okay, all of a sudden we got to come in here and to run the ball 2/3 at a time. When you got those weapons on the outside, absolutely, you use them early. And if you can back Michigan off, the idea that the run game gives you is balance, maybe not percentage-wise in play calls, but gives you, okay, we have an option. If they want to get too high and sit back, we have another option to go to, right? And it's always harder on offense if you know every single play. If everyone, I say it all the time, if everyone in the stadium and their mother knows that you're throwing the football every play, it gets a lot harder no matter who's out there and no matter what your quarterback is playing like, right? Unless he really is 2019 LSU Joe Burrow, that's about the only time I've seen that where it was just like, yeah, there's just no answer. He's going to drop back and throw it and rip it every single play. It's the idea that you do have that counter punch, and then you can creep those safeties back in and then take shots over the top and get that man-to-man coverage, right? It's that pendulum, right, that you talk about, controlling defenses like that. I'm not at all saying 1st and 10, first play of the game, they got to just run it in the A-gap just to do it. It's not. You're right. And to be honest with you, the goal for me is not going to be to outrush Michigan. Like, you're probably not going to do that anyway unless your defense just plays way up. But the idea is, if there's a road where Ohio State loses this game, a factor would be, say, if they got outrushed something like 250 to 75, right? Like, that would be a disparity that would worry me, because Michigan's controlling the game and there is an over-reliance on Sayin. Now, if they have to over-rely on Sayin, he wins it anyway, then hey, so be it. I get it. You got maybe the 2 best receivers in the country, and it is what it is. But the idea of having enough, if they got outrushed by Michigan 180 to 130, I would feel really good about Ohio State's chances, because I know there was at least enough balance in the offense where it wasn't just a constant, hey, we're just taking shots and that's all we're doing.
Yeah. That makes way better sense. BMO, just go ahead. Sorry.
No, yeah. And listen, this is so good, man. A couple things. One, before I go into my response, I love the stat that you guys gave about the 170. Remember, you said Ohio State has not given up 170 to any team this season, and you said there was only 4 teams that have rushed for over 100 yards, and Michigan has only not rushed for more than 170 twice, and those were the losses. See, that's what I'm talking about. Y'all got to make sure y'all tune into them. Great guys. So with that said, I honestly, here's the thing, y'all, with this whole running thing. We know that you can still win the rushing battle on the back end by getting up with the pass like 21-3 and then sitting on the ball by running the ball. You can still win the rushing battle by not coming out running the ball the first 3 downs for the first 2 quarters. We get that. That's one way you can still win it. With that said, I do think if Michigan, team up north, scum, no respect this week. If they want to play, drop their safeties back, cloud coverage, cover 3, soft coverage, and make us dink and dunk. All right, cool. Julian Sayin has been really good with the RPO game. Go watch the Wisconsin game. Okay, a lot of that stuff was RPO. Now, I think we're running the ball more effectively than we did versus Wisconsin. I think we've grown a lot because we really didn't run the ball that well. The point is, though, I think I want people to understand this. If we see runs early, I don't think it's because Ryan Day wants to prove he's tough. I think it's because that's what the defense is presenting. And so they are preparing our Buckeyes this week to take advantage of that. When the box is light, we better be able to run and make them pay for it. That doesn't mean we're going to run it every time. It just means take that. That should be a free 7-8 yards if you execute. No Kenneth Grant, no Mason Graham out there. Those were 2 studs. They're gone. This defense is good, Dalton. I agree they're a good outfit, but they are not last year, especially with those 2 D tackles. They're just not. So I'm saying that to say I think we're going to rush for about 165 to 175 total, Ohio State. And I do think we're going to keep the team up north under 200 yards rushing tomorrow because we're going to get ahead and they're going to be forced to throw the ball. That's my prediction.
I would tell you, I think if the rushing battle were that close to even as far as just yardage goes, then I think Ohio State gets a pretty solid win here. I do. I think Michigan, they want to get out ahead and score first and run the football and really milk the clock the same way they did last year, right? And they got to force a couple of turnovers. I think the theme really, whether it comes from running the ball, the RPO game, like you mentioned, working underneath, maybe getting, I love that how much they got Max Clare involved last week, I should say, in the game plan without Smith and Tate out there. Maybe a little bit of Brandon Innes too, those slot guys, some unheralded guys we don't see as much. The whole theme to me, whether it's running the ball or the short passing game, is you just can't be in 3rd and 8 against Martindale. You cannot. And look, and again, I love saying, but you don't want to expose him to all the blitz packages and all the weird rotations and everything that he can throw at you. If that means we get to 3rd and 1 or we even just get first downs on early downs with the run game, cool. If it's the shorter passing game, cool. Because I would expect to a certain degree, and they did this last year, that they're going to sit back on early downs and go, you know what, be tougher than us then. Fine. This is why I think the run game is important, because if it looks more like it did the first half of the year, then you're sitting in 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7, and I can't have that with, and again, maybe Sand can see the field, he can tear it up, but I don't want to take that chance. And I think it works the same way the other way when we get to Bryce Underwood versus Matt Patricia. I think both teams, when it comes to down and distance and avoiding those obvious passing situations, both teams are going to have the same goal in this game.
Real quick follow-up. Do you think, you mentioned Matt Patricia, do you think the Matt Patricia effect can help with the offensive side of the ball to prepare for those NFL concepts with the zone blitzing? Like, do you see Ryan Day leaning on Patricia more to implement in the game plan how to be effective in those situations if it's 3rd and 8?
Possibly. I mean, the biggest thing is for Sayin to be able to see it pre-snap, right? Whether it's Ryan Day or Brian Hartline or even Patricia can help with that, and he's coached offense before in the league. Anybody who can just get Sayin to see the one thing in any 3rd down look he needs to see, that's something that I would really spend even more time practicing on this past week if it was me, is 3rd down looks. What are we getting on 3rd down? Because that's where Martindale is so dangerous. I'm pretty sure Michigan, I'd have to check the numbers this week, but I'm pretty sure they're about a top 20 blitzing team in the country when it comes to just blitzing quarterbacks on passing downs, right? So you're really looking at, I think, yes, that can help. And Brian Hartline being in the NFL so long helps, right? And and he's probably played against Martindale at some point too, sometime maybe, against the Giants or Ravens or what have you. But I think that's the biggest theme to me, is Sayin being able to see that, seeing which way, seeing the safeties, seeing which way things are going to rotate. Is it man? Are they going to stay in man and bring it? Are they going to be in zone? Who's hot? All of those things matter. But if you win on early downs, with the run game, with the RPO game, like you mentioned, that matters a little bit less, right? If you're in 15 third downs in this game and 10 of them are 3rd and 7 or longer, any team's going to have a problem, but especially against that defensive coordinator with all the looks he can throw at you, that's the biggest problem I think Ohio State could have in this game if they get stuck in that situation.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I think some of it's weird because right, these feelings, a lot of feelings from this game coming tomorrow are stemming from what we watched last year. And there's a debate last year with why did that result happen? Was it because, right, the play calling? Was it because of player execution? I think it was a little bit of both. You got some people that are big on the play calling that think that we ran the ball too much. You got some people that think it was player execution when, hey, light boxes, like you said, we need to be able to run the ball. But I think that still is the main point you're trying to get across here. I couldn't agree more with you. If they're going to say, hey, we're dropping 2 back, we're playing this, you're not going to beat us over the top, then we do. We have to be able to go get 4 or 5 yards on the ground on first down and make it a 2nd and 5, and then maybe open up our passing game a little bit. So I agree with you a lot there. Dalton, we got a big list of people coming on, got some people waiting below. Dalton, any final thoughts to Buckeye Nation or anybody else watching this show tonight?
I just do think it's going to be a game where everybody watching it on both sides of it. I think you are going to be a little bit nervous. I know the spread says what it says, and I was surprised when it opened up this week at 12 and a half. I was surprised it opened that wide. And look, on paper, yes, Ohio State's the better football team, and it's same thing the other way. Again, with Underwood, if you force them into 3rd and longs, Michigan is not that deep offensively. They've got Jordan Marshall, they got Andrew Marsh. Donovan McCulley's okay. There's not a whole lot other than that. So if you can force Underwood into those situations and keep him from running outside of the pocket, I think it's going to be okay. But I do think we're getting a war. I think we're getting a hard-fought defensive game. I really do. But Ohio State's depth and their ability to answer everything on defense, I do think wins the day. And it's going to be a hard-fought physical game, man. If you guys are going to break that streak, I do think you're going to have to earn it. I feel good about their chances, but it is not going to be easy. And I'm just not a big believer that the spread should be that wide. I do think we're getting a 1-score game.
Hey, luckily, we don't have to wait long to find out who's right and who's wrong on this. We're going to find out tomorrow, man. I'm excited. I'm just as excited as I was waiting in line to get into the national title game last year. I will tell you that. I'm stoked. I'm pumped. Dalton, thank you so much for joining the show. We'll get you back on another time. Stay blessed, brother.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys.
Yes, sir. All right. We got 2 more people waiting below. Another guest, Daniel Sanchez, going to join us in a minute. Nevada coming on. B. Moses, how much longer you want to stick around? You riding out for a little longer here?
I mean, I can hop off for the other 2 brothers, Sanchez and Nevada. You know, I've been on here for almost an hour. I'm not going to hog.
Dude, you don't need to. If you're feeling it, stay on here. I'm about to bring Nevada on right now. I'm going to bring Daniel on. We knew this was going to happen. It's a big time show. What up, Daniel? How you doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
Doing good, man. I like that shirt, bro. I like that shirt.
But it's something. Yeah, a little parent association thing, man.
Nice, dude.
Lovely Miss Sanchez is a part of. So yeah,
I love it, man. Nevada, you are live now as well. How are you, brother?
I'm doing great. I'm excited. I was listening to the show, listening about what a hard fought game it's going to be and how we're going to be lucky to get out of Ann Arbor with a win yesterday. And I was like, no, I disagree. I think we're better. I think we're better than these guys. And I don't think, and to quote the immortal words of Ryan Day before the Rose Bowl last year, there's no reason this game needs to be close. So I think we're gonna give it to him tomorrow.
I did catch myself thinking, man, I wonder what Nevada would be saying right now, because I'm with you, man. I do not think this game has to be close. But Daniel, you're part of this thing a lot more than a lot of people this year. Your son has a pivotal role in this defense this year. Devin Sanchez had his ups, had his downs. He's in the moments. The coaches trust him. You're in it, bro. You there. You're going to the game, man. First off, appreciate you joining. Tell us about it, dude. As a parent, where are you at in this game? Are you seeing how the seriousness of it? Are you feeling the energy? Are you seeing the hate? Are you feeling the dislike/hate? Where are you at, man?
Man, we're in the middle of it. Like you said, but we're just soaking it all in. And And we're excited, man. We're not nervous or anything like that, but we're anxious to get down and see what everything's about. Man, I've spent the last probably 5-6 months trying to get myself a little bit more acquainted with this rivalry thing. Um, Especially coming from a place where rivalries happen. We have a few where I'm from, but this thing is it's on another level. So man, I'm anxious to see what it's really about. Just to kind of soak it all in, man.
Yeah, it's at a different level, and I think even this year the level might have been ticked up a notch considering everything that's occurred, obviously on the field and off the field. It just adds a lot to this game. Nevada, talk to that a little bit, man. Obviously, you're in this thing too, covering the team, covering these games. What's the feeling like for you? Do you feel like, we know this is a big time rivalry every single year, but does this game just have a little bit more juice to it than normal?
Well, I think it does, but it's kind of an interesting phenomena this year with the way that the college football playoff is set up, and the way that with the playoff expansion. Well, I grew up where the game was literally, if you lost the game, your season ended. Like that was the end of your season. You went home. So sometimes you didn't even go to a bowl, period. Let alone if you went to a lesser bowl or whatever it would be. Now obviously you're really playing for seeding, obviously for pride, obviously for the Big Ten championship and things like that. But in terms of the pursuit of the bigger prize, it's just really a question of when you're going to get your bye. Are you going to get your bye the week of the the Big Ten championship game, or the first week of the college football playoff? So from that standpoint, I think it takes some of the pressure off, and I frankly think that's good. I think that's a good thing for a coach like Ryan Day, who's at his best when he's coaching fearlessly, when he's calling on offense aggressively. And I think, when he looks at the worst case scenario in terms of saying, hey, what's the worst thing that can happen if the unthinkable transpired? I think he can kind of live with that result. And I think as a result, the offensive game plan is going to be much more aggressive than it certainly than it was last year, when that was not Ryan Day's finest hour. And we can say that, we can be fair and honest about, I'm the biggest Ryan Day stan on the planet, but I don't think he was great last November against Michigan. I think he's going to be great tomorrow. And I think as a result, we're going to see Ohio State operating on all cylinders. And I've got a real confidence about this game. And I'm not always that way. You guys know, as a gambler, I'm always nervous. I'm always thinking about the worst case scenario. I have a real confidence about the game tomorrow. And I think we're going to be really happy with the result.
Yeah.
Hey,
What you got, B?
real quick, I wanted to respond to Nevada, and then I had a question for Daniel. Nevada, I know you said you have a confidence about this game, and you mentioned Ryan Day, coaching loose and things like that. I thought about the Georgia game. I thought about the playoffs last year. I mean, we've seen, some people on the internet will call him Cocaine Day, where he's just like crazy. He's just like, and just, no holds barred. But I think people really don't understand how last year changed him. How down bad things seem to be after that game, with the threats, with the fire him, the team meeting, all of that. And for him to respond like that, I really think this is going to be the cherry on top of all of that. And so, just look at him in interviews and just leading up to this. He just seems like, man, look, we got this. It's almost like, how could you be still tight about a game after accomplishing all these things you accomplished over this calendar year? I know this is a different game than those games, but those games are bigger. The national championship is the biggest honor in college football. So, and my thinking is like, look what we just did. Why will we be tight in this game? Even though it's the game, we're better than them. And that's why he's been saying all week, stick to our routine, do what we always do, and so we can be as prepared as we usually are, and just win the game. Don't overthink it. So I wanted to say that. But then, Daniel, first of all, brother, I look forward to meeting you in person. I've seen you on the pod, interacted with you, heard great things about you. You do an excellent job. So look forward to meet you in person. I wanted to ask you, how is your son? I know he's a true freshman. He's never played in this game. Where is his two-part question? How is he taking it all in that he's playing this much as he is as a true freshman? I mean, he's starting at corner in a lot of these games. And where is his mindset and headspace going into this big game tomorrow?
Man, that's a great question. He's coming into his own, I believe, like, just as far as the playing time as a whole. But as far as the game tomorrow is going, he's fully aware that this is the kind of game, especially for a young guy in his situation, that this could kind of elevate things if you can make a few things happen, right? And the other side of that is things could also if things don't go well, right? And so man, he knows that there's all that's real, right? And that, he has to live up to that expectation, and that is the standard. And just going to go out and handle business, man. It's like you say, it's another day at the office, in reality, and just going out and doing what you got to do, and and punch in, and get ready to take care of your business and punch on out. Now I think that's the mindset, man, and that's the best way to go about it. But just understand that this is it's a real thing. So I think he's like I say, man, he's fully aware, and ready to go. Like I say, we're excited. What we understand, it's been a great week of practice. Things have been real nice. So like I say, man, we're excited to see what's happening. And like I say, just from what we understand, man, this thing is kind of streaky. So I mean, we're really excited, man, to have a chance to be a part of turning this thing around, and understanding that when you do turn this thing around, it's around for a minute. So I mean, man, we're really looking forward to that, man. So we're really excited.
Good stuff.
Yeah, man. There's a phrase attached with your son's name that has caught on in Buckeye Nation, and I don't normally cuss on stream. It isn't too bad of a word, but it's belt to ass. And that's what's about to happen, man. That's what this team is fired up to do. I love it. Daniel, you're in an interesting position where parent of the team, and I just went on a rant the other day about we always praise the coaches and the players, but we've seen far too often parents that want to get involved in their child's playing time, the game plan, and the coaches here all the time, and they can disrupt the culture of teams. So parents have to buy into the culture and brotherhood of this team just as much as the parents do. You're giving your babies over, your child over, and trusting these coaches to do it. And it's got to be hard sometimes to keep your hands off of it, right? And do that. But I don't have that experience, so I wouldn't know. But you have the parent side of it, right?
Yeah.
But you also have the fan side of it, where you love football too. You're a student, teacher of the game yourself. Obviously, you're involved in Devin being the number one corner in the nation, so you know something about football that doesn't just happen out of blind luck and just trainers. Parents are heavily involved in that. Let me hear the fan side of this thing. You've watched these Buckeyes play offensively and defensively. I don't know how much you've watched of Scum offensively and defensively, but just tell us whatever it is that's on your heart about this game, man. What do you think the Buckeyes need to do offensively, defensively, and vice versa?
And I've watched that team play a few times. They're a physical team. They're a good team. They run the ball very well. They fly around on defense. I think man, if we come out and play loose the way we're supposed to, I'm not a big like prediction kind of guy, but man, I'm thinking somewhere about 24-10, and man, I'd be thrilled with that. Ride on home, and see you next year. Have fun. Watching basketball. So man, that's about where I see it. I think we come out and handle business, man. I mean, I think they everything's there. you know, let's say they just got to go out and do their thing, play loose.
Yeah, I love it. That's a big statement, right? Because play loose, play your game, don't play tight. That's a lot of the things Buckeye fans are wanting after last year's game. Felt like things maybe been played a little bit tight. We know Ryan Day is operating a little bit differently this year. Flying out to the game seems to be trying to treat it just like any other game in the aspect of as long as these Buckeyes go out and do what they've been doing all year, right? They're going to take care of business. They're going to handle business. We've watched them defensively, offensively. We know that if they go out and play their brand of football, they're going to win this game. Daniel, dude, we appreciate you so much coming on, brother. Got a loaded guest list tonight. Some people waiting down below. Other people come on. You got any final thoughts? Any final words for Buckeye Nation?
Like I say, man, we're excited, man. Can't wait to get there. Say, go Bucks, man. Hope they put a foot on their ass. Like I say,
Yeah.
handle business.
Cool.
I love
Thanks.
it. So are you waiting in the hotel? Are you at a hotel in Ann Arbor right now?
We're not in Ann Arbor right now, but we'll be heading out there soon. But
Okay.
yeah,
All
I
right.
say, man, hey, man, you guys are doing a great job, man. We appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah.
Good to see you, B Moses, man. First time talking with you, man. I appreciate everything, man. Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Appreciate you joining, Daniel. Go Bucks. OH.
IO, baby.
There you have it. Daniel Sanchez, father of Devin Sanchez. So many names, man. Him and D Sanchez, huge part of Buckeye Nation, in the chats all the time. Amazing people. We tell you all the time, when these Buckeyes recruit players, they recruit families as well. So there's always an amazing family behind an amazing recruit. Nevada, you still with us, dude? Or are you eating your ribeye? What are you doing?
Now I am with you. I can't interrupt that though, man. You're getting some rare insight there from the parent of a key player on the team. So best for Nevada just to shut up and listen and take notes. But I did want to say, one of the things that Ryan Day's been saying all year, and you hear this from the players and heard it from Sonny Styles today on the kind of the video about the game and things, is really it's about us. It's not about the other team. It's about us. And that really goes to your point about playing your own game and not playing anybody else's game. And I just think that is absolutely 100% spot on, the right message to send to this Ohio State team. Man, just play your game. Don't get caught up in the shenanigans. Don't get caught up in the hype. Don't get caught up in any of that other nonsense. Just play your game. We're better than they are. We're better than they are. We've been better than they are by every metric that you can use to compare the eye test, objectively, subjectively, numerically, every way you can look at it. We're better than they are. So just play your game, and I think in those, when you do that, you handle your business that way, you generally get what you deserve. And I really believe that the end result on that's going to be a victory for Ohio State. And, that's one of the reasons why I'm so confident. And I think, Ryan Day, if you think about everything that started from the player meeting last year, and that player meeting last year was without precedent, where you have players calling out a coach and directly calling out. I'm just, you guys I know you guys know how strange that was. I'm telling you, that's never happened in the history of Ohio State football before. That was really different. And the way I look at this game, you talk about what happened with the championship last year and all the game. This is the final act of that. This is, you talk about the whole circle kind of coming around. This game this year is the final act. So it wasn't last year winning the national championship. It wasn't, that wasn't the end of this story, man. I'm telling you, this story doesn't end until we win tomorrow. And I think the way that we played last year in the playoff, we've been perfect since then. We haven't lost a game since then. Ran through 4 top 10 opponents, ran through 11 opponents so far this year. Running 15-game winning streak coming in. Tomorrow's the final act. I believe the world's a circle, and I believe the world comes full circle tomorrow with an Ohio State victory.
Yeah, I love it, guys. So listen, Ohio's Tate from Barstool is driving to Ann Arbor right now for the game. He already pulled over once to come on, but too many people on screen, so he backed off. I just texted him, told him he's good to go. So whoever's talking, as soon as Ohio Tate comes on, I'm going to interrupt, stop who's ever talking, bring him on. He wants to do a 5-minute rant and then get off here. But somebody just came down below. Might be one of the favorite people in Buckeye Nation, man. Justin Spiro is waiting below. I'm going to make people wait anxiously in the chat because I'm stoked. I'm going to sit back and listen to him talk. But Justin, if I have to interrupt you when Ohio State comes on, it's only going to be for 5 minutes, man. Don't kill me. It's really hard to schedule everybody to come on, right, and act like everybody's only going to talk for their allotted amount of time and all that. We're already 15 minutes behind schedule. But without further ado, Mr. Spiro, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. It's an honor as always. And so Ohio State is going to the game, huh?
He is. Yeah, he is. He's driving there now, like you heard me say. He literally pulled over just to come on. He said he wants to give a 5-minute rant. He's been putting some pretty good stuff on X. I know him and Portnoy, they're going back and forth really hard right now. So when he gets on, I'm going to be quiet, but when he's done with his rant, if you guys want to really poke into that, that's all you. You guys
can interrupt me at any time. I'll just say I find Portnoy and the rest of the Michigan Nation confidence to be interesting. It is a 4-year win streak of confidence based on a barely 1 year's win of momentum. Now, I do blame Ohio State for losing that game last year, even though they remedied that in the way really – the only way you could, I would argue, is winning the national title, and they've done that. I still blame them for it, but even to the extent that I do, I would argue that Ohio State lost that game last year due to a mental block created entirely by the 3 years of cheating prior. So while I hold the Buckeyes accountable just as like an objective fan, they got to win that game. Just go 1 for 2 on short field goals, for example. At the same time, even that has a little patina of stain to me. I think the ship gets righted tomorrow, and I feel very confident in that. Ryan Day learned from his mistakes last year. I don't consider anything that happened in the 3-year cheating window legitimate. It's kind of absurd when you think about it. Anyone that pretends that this is some 4-game win streak is beyond disingenuous. It's ridiculous. You had the poll in The Athletic where they interviewed 50 coaches around the country, coordinators, head coaches, position coaches from all over the country in multiple conferences. And the absolute minimum each coach said, it was worth 3 to 7 points per game what Michigan was doing. And that goes nothing into the momentum. And obviously Ohio State has to go for it on 4th down and end up in 2022. And then Michigan gets the lead. Whereas if Ohio State was +7 in that situation, they're not going for it on 4th down and everything changes. The idea that we're supposed to take anything from the cheating window seriously is kind of laughable. I mean, we all know they take it seriously, but what other choice do they have? Celebrating 1 win in 20 years that wasn't over an interim coach, and even that was by 3 points in a year Ohio State won the national title and hasn't lost a game since. Really, what else do they have? I suppose you can't really blame them for any of that, but at the same time, Ohio State's the preeminent program in America. Alabama is the only one even in the conversation since George Bush was president, and I don't really know what we're talking about here. They can have fun with the momentum. As far as I'm concerned, they have 1 win by 3 points in a game. Ohio State missed 2 short field goals and then won the national championship 50 days later. What are we really talking about here? Right, I look forward to you guys righting this ship, and I'm looking forward to, frankly, another run where you go 18-2 or 17-3 or whatever the heck it is over the next 20 years, because you are a significantly better program than them. And unfortunately, the gap between my program and yours is even wider, but that's another story. I feel good for you guys tomorrow. I'm actually going to Ann Arbor tonight, spending the night downtown and going to the game tomorrow. Maybe I'll run into your buddy Tate. I'm looking forward to it.
Wow. Nice.
I couldn't pass it up. I offer for free parking pass, free tickets. I had to go. I had to go.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I have to ask Justin, so when you go to a game like this, like, what do you wear? Do you wear like your Sparty green or do you wear like an other neutral color, or are you sporting the Ohio State stuff that you got
Great
for
question. Great question.
last birthday, or what is it? How does Justin, the great Justin Spiro, dress to the Ohio State Michigan game in Ann Arbor? I have to hear the answer to
Great
this.
question. So in 2023, I wore a Michigan State hoodie, but it was black with like black lettering, black on black. You couldn't even tell it was a Michigan State. I wasn't wearing like green and white. I think that's actually kind of a jackass move, frankly, to like go. I hate when Michigan fans show up decked out in Wolverine gear because of the harassment I have received from the Michigan fans, and because of my support of Ryan Day, and because of the fact that I am applying to a graduate program at The Ohio State University right now, I am justifying wearing an Ohio State hoodie tomorrow.
Oh, right. Oh,
and
my
I
goodness.
could not be more proud. And if any of these people got a problem with it, I just got to say, hey, I'm an Ohio State applicant, and considering I graduated from every grad program I went to with a 4.0 or damn near, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get in, and it'll be up to me whether I become a Buckeye formally or not. But the harassment I've received, my love of Ryan Day, how much I hate them, I would wear Satan's colors. Thankfully, you guys aren't Satan. You are the righteous brothers. But if you were Satan and they were the enemy, I'd be showing up with horns on, because they are a plague. And you guys are the panacea to the plague. You're going to cure this disease that has been rotting the Midwest for the past 4 going on 5 years. And thank you, because my program's not capable of it. We are so wayward and so inept. So it falls to you, but you're going to do it tomorrow. I can't wait. So I will be wearing something I never thought I would say or do, Ohio State colors, for at least one day. I have my Ohio State hoodie. I'm ready. I just ripped the tags off. It showed up today, just in time, but I'm ready for it.
Wow.
Dude, I absolutely love that, man. You talked about, I loved you bring this stuff up, because it's like we get close to this game, and even the national media and other people, they just talk so openly about this 4-game winning streak and never mention why or how that was the case. It makes me so furious, and it's to the point now where I even see Buckeyes fans like responding like to that without ever mentioning the fact that they cheated. I don't know if it's that we feel like we're whining or what, but it's the truth, man. Like, they cheated in a very big way, right? How much it affected the game is irrelevant. If you get caught cheating on a math test, you're not going to get partial credit for it. You cheated. The entire test gets thrown away. So it's just dumbfounded me how, I mean, all the national media that I have heard, I have not heard one person say, hey, we can't really give him credit for a 4-game win streak because we know what happened. I haven't heard one person say that. You are the first person that I have heard say that, and it just dumbfounds me. Not really anymore, right, because of hearing everybody else's reaction to this, but it's still, those are the facts, man. And they're even going on, and now it's crazy. Michigan State is even part of this now, that they're coming out talking about Ohio State, Michigan State are the only 2 teams in the Big Ten to get wins vacated and all this stuff. It's just, it's so wild. And the fact that they just keep going deeper and deeper into this character they've created. It's not a character, it's who they are. That's why they keep going deeper and deeper, because it's who they are, like in their souls. And it's evil. It's wild to me, and it's so frustrating. But our only thing we can do now, the only answer, is to smash them on the field, right? This is it. It has to happen. It's going to happen. It's not optional. They're getting smashed on the field. That's what's happening.
What did Jim Tressel go against that school? 7-1, 8-1, something like that. Am I right about that?
I think he wasn't he 10-1?
Maybe 10. He lost 1.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a big number and 1. Okay.
Yeah.
These are the same people that argued that the entirety of Jim Tressel's dominance, not just in the rivalry, but nationally, having the best record in the country, the number 1 best record by winning percentage in the country in that span inside of the Power 5. Only Boise State was higher, but who cares? They're playing Idaho. In that span, they completely wrote off Jim Tressel's accomplishments and his wins over Michigan on the basis of Tattoo-gate, which happened at the very end of that run. And had absolutely nothing to do with on-field advantage. It wasn't an inducement. These kids were already there. It was a handful of guys. It had nothing to do with, even if you thought it was the worst scandal ever, it happened in 2010, not 03 or 06. So it makes no sense. These are the same people that argued that those wins were stain tainted, they didn't count, or the whole thing is a fugazi. And we're supposed to believe that Tattoo-gate, even if you think it matters, which happened 7 years after the guy showed up, that negates wins, but actual on-field cheating in the games you won doesn't somehow stain or undermine the credibility. It's insane. And Ohio State self-reported their violations. Michigan State self-reported their violations, at least in Tattoo-gate, because the FBI, that whole thing was found out because the FBI raided the guy's house and found Ohio State gear belonging to current players and contacted the school thinking maybe this drug dealer stole the equipment. That's how Ohio State and later Tressel found out. They self-reported promptly. They turned themselves in. Michigan State would have never been found out. Ohio State, because of the FBI's involvement, would have probably come out, not for sure, probably whether they did the right thing or not. Either way, they did the right thing and promptly. Michigan State would have 100%. I was the one that reported Michigan State self-reported violations. I'm the first one. I know more about this story than anybody. They absolutely would have gotten away with it. They turned themselves in, which Michigan didn't turn themselves in for anything. So the Righteous Brothers stance is still as applicable as ever. It's not about being perfect. It's about taking accountability. Ohio State turned themselves in when they discovered impropriety. Michigan State turned themselves in when they discovered impropriety. Michigan did not turn themselves in and threatened to kill people and went after Ryan Day's innocent siblings and their extended family. This is a complete nonsense that these are even comparable situations, so they can say, oh, only one with vacated wins. Who really cares? The NCAA is so stupid. And in their own decision, this is why, like, poor Intrinsic and I, and Nevada too, I could put all three of us in there, even B. Moses. We laid out exactly what they did and what the NCAA's track record precedent and their own required grid punishment guidelines said they had to do. And we took that and then predicted, while saying they could do whatever they want, and who knows what the outcome would be for Michigan. We nailed that. Intrinsic, more than me even, completely nailed that. And he gets mocked because the NCAA, in their own written decision, where they indict Michigan for 73 pages, on page 74 in the second to last paragraph, puts in a thing, actually a multi-year postseason ban is required. Not suggested, not stipulated, is required in this situation, but we don't want to punish the kids. So what happens? People mock Nevada, people mock Intrinsic, people mock me, say we got it wrong. Nobody got it more right. And the NCAA went rogue. So by their own writing, they went rogue and violated what their own mandate was. So pardon us for looking at what they were supposed to do, what they had to do by their own later admission, and then just going rogue. That was always a possibility, and a possibility, frankly, we discussed over the course of an entire year. Nothing changes. I said from the beginning, and I'm on tape, I said it on your guys' show, I don't care what the NCAA does. I don't need their approval. I don't need I don't care if they disapprove of my takeaway. They cheated. It mattered. Every coach interviewed across the country unanimously 100% said it mattered. Not a single outlier, not a single one deviated from the poll. It's obvious. They cheated. Why'd they do it? Why'd they pay for it? So you guys are restoring some order, and it begins tomorrow. I would argue the national championship was really the big step. Ryan Day's probably going to win 3 national titles in a row, and they can all kiss your ass, frankly.
And that's a great time to sign out. I'm about to hop off. Tell Ohio State. I said Ohio State. I said, what's up? What's good? I met him in Wisconsin. Dapped him up. Great dude. He's been killing it. Justin, that was a great rant. You always preach well. Reverend Justin, you always kill it. Thankful for you. Listen, next time we talk, it'll be after a Buckeye victory tomorrow. I'll see y'all later. Peace.
I'll leave too. I'm going to jet. OH. Good luck.
IO.
Thanks, Justin. Yeah, Nevada. Spiro went on that entire rant right there and doesn't even bring up, like, when you look at the scum players that were part of this 4-year run, how they're performing in the NFL. Like, what more evidence do you need to pile on top of the actual physical evidence that they already have? It's sitting at the bottom of a pond, and some of the other stuff. I mean, right? If you're saying it didn't have an advantage, then why are these guys not showing up and showing out in the NFL? Just, I mean, it's so obvious, and you have to ignore so much on that side. Like, if you're rooting for that team and you're on that side, look at the amount of stuff you have to ignore to continue to root for your team and mock, right, other teams in the, like, Michigan State and Ohio State now, and confidently say out loud, we're on a 4-0 win streak. Like, try to put yourself in their shoes and imagine the amount of things you would have to ignore. Like, that's got to put you in some type of turmoil, or not. I mean, or not. I don't know.
Well, I mean, look, I always like to talk. I am a gambler, and I like to talk about gambling a lot, because it's fun. If you would have told me, because I thought we had this dead to rights when we were reporting this, that they were going to be found guilty of an aggravated level 1 repeat offender failure to monitor charge, I would have bet everything that I have that they get a bullpen. Just because it's in the NCAA rules are reviewed every year, and they amend rules, change rules, whatever. But they set the guidelines every year, and they have rules there. I mean, it's in the rules. If you're found guilty of a failure to monitor level of 1, you get a bowl ban. You know what I'm saying? So, like, the fact that they deviated, no way, shape, or form exonerates them or clears them or minimizes what goes on. And I think your point about the players in the NFL, look, with the exception of Aiden Hutchinson, every other player in the NFL off that team has been a complete bust. They suck. And JJ McCarthy being the head suckage of all. I've used this stat before, but of the 4,324 quarterbacks that have played in the history of the NFL, he is ranked 4,323rd, only ahead of Jamarcus Russell. And I mean, that's what we're dealing with here. I mean, he's so bad. He is so bad. That's their national championship winning quarterback there, JJ McCarthy. But look, I mean, I frankly, I don't think Fats Underwood's all that. I know some people are like, they like to get into this, oh, Fats is, he can throw it. And he's just like JJ. He can't layer the ball. He has one pitch, the fastball. So if a guy's standing open and he's right in front of him, yeah, he can throw it to him. But if he's got to layer it over a linebacker, feather it over a cornerback, can't do it. Just can't do it. That's why he turns the ball over so many times. And I think, in the Ohio State Michigan game, turning the ball over is the devil. And I think they've got Satan at quarterback there in Fats Underwood, because I think he's going to turn the ball over a bunch tomorrow. And I think that'll be one of the keys to an Ohio State victory. I mean, look, when we've lost, it's been because we gave him a short field. I think Fats is going to give us a short field tomorrow, and I can't wait to see it.
Dude, in every single game that Underwear has played in, he has thrown an interceptable pass. I watched in the Maryland game, he literally threw a ball right to a Maryland safety, who then caught it, carried it for 3 or 4 yards, and just randomly dropped the ball. So even in that game, and that was a turning point in the game, because dude would have scored. Like, he had a lane to score. So it would have drastically changed things. Bryce Underwear is 37.5% completion percentage against top 25 teams this year. Okay? The dude has thrown 9 touchdowns against 5 interceptions. He has a 62% completion percentage, and that's only because I think he was at 87% for the Rutgers game or something like that. And we had one game where he might have threw 5 passes and completed 4 of them. So, yeah, Nevada, I'm with you on that. But we got a guest waiting below, right? Much respect. He's not going to be happy with everything we've been saying about his team, but he is the only one that was willing to come on here. Dude's so much respect given to him, not his team, but to him as a person for coming on here, because he's coming into, I mean, this is an Ohio State show, and he reports on the other team. So, Maze Madman, chat, be as nice as you possibly can. Maze Madman, before you come on, I can't control Nevada, but here we go. M3, what's up, brother? How are you?
Golf claps, ladies and gentlemen. I'm feeling good, man. How y'all feeling?
Hey, good, man. I am stoked. I'm excited for the game. Just so you know, we have an individual, Ohio State from Barstool. He's driving to the game. He has to pull over to come on the show. So as soon as he comes up, I'm just going to bring him up. He's going on a 5-minute rant. You might want to mute him anyway. You're probably not going to hear what he wants to say.
Oh, no, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, you love it. But this is the game, man. Big time game. A lot of stuff on the table tomorrow. What's your thoughts, bro?
Well, it's a lot to unpack, man. You know what? I've been watching.
Actually, Maze, time out real fast. How are you doing today, bro?
I'm doing great, man. I had a good Thanksgiving. How was yours, by the way?
It was good. It was good.
Yeah, we had family. It was good. It's a good time.
I
appreciate you asking, by the way.
Yeah.
With that said, I've been watching for a while. And it's been a lot of things that I wish I could have got on with Justin Spiro. He's one of my faves. I gotta say, shout out to B Moses too, who has one of the greatest intro songs of all time on any space. So I got to give him credit for that. That said, it was some things I thought were said that were a bit untoward, but that's your right and your fan base is right to feel that way. I'm not going to tell you to feel any differently. That's fine. But in terms of the game tomorrow, I'm excited about it. I think that you guys have a great team, much like you did a season ago, but I'm not even going to bring that game into this scope today. I think the defense is playing great. Under 8 points a game for opponents. That's amazing. Number one scoring defense. Number one quarterback has the best passing efficiency. He's completing the highest percentage of passes. All of that is impressive. And that still is why we play the game, though, because if we just looked at it on paper, then we should be handing Ohio State the trophy, the Big Ten trophy, the national championship trophy. Unfortunately, though, for that vile, disgusting cesspool in Columbus, we don't do it that way, right? They don't just hand you a trophy because everything on paper says you're better than everybody, which you might be, by the way, better than everybody, but you still have to play the game.
Yeah, there obviously a lot of things that are building up to this game, but me and Nevada were giving our take on Bryce. I call him Bryce Underwear before you came on here. I really want to know your confidence level, what you have seen from him from the beginning of the year until now. You said you understand the Buckeyes defense, Matt Patricia, Arvell Reese, Caleb Downs, those Sonny Styles. Those would be, I would say, our answers to your quarterback's best weapon as of right now, which is his legs. A lot of people keep pointing to that. But just give us your take, your confidence on Bryce Underwood to be able to come into a game of this magnitude against a defense, the best defense statistically in the nation. I think we can both agree on that, at least, because that's a fact. Give us your take. Bryce Underwood, what do you what does he need to do to win this game? What are your worries and what are you confident about?
I think you brought up a good point with him throwing turnover worthy passes in just about every game, if not every game. That's a fact. We've seen that as fans. Like you said, that game against Maryland could be the entire flow could have gone differently if that guy hangs on to the ball. All of that is fair. I think he's a young guy. I'm not going to say that I'm through the roof confident. That said, I'm much more confident in him than I was in Make-A-Wish Warren a season ago. And to his credit, he completed a big pass in that game, but he also threw it to the only person he couldn't throw it to on the goal line. But that's for another day, another story, right? But I'm fairly confident in the game plan that they'll put around Bryce to make this thing a game. Otherwise, if you're asking me if left to his own devices, if he's just dropping back, throwing the ball 30, 40 times, it's not going to be a good day for Michigan.
Yeah. So you're saying you expect Scum to have to rely on the running game, the physicality of the game, kind of like which we saw last year. Nevada, I'm curious, is this you want to speak up or if you would like to remain on mute?
No, when somebody else is talking, I always like to put it on mute because I don't want to have I don't want to my dog attack me or something like that and have some dog sound in the background or something like that. No, I guess my question would be for our esteemed Michigan guest is like, has Underwood lived up to your expectations? In general, that's a general question. Secondly, on a specific note, like when he was yucking it up at the end of the USC game down 18 and stuff like that, how did that strike you as a fan? Because I can just tell you, if that was an Ohio State quarterback and we were losing by 18 and he was on the sideline yucking it up, that guy would not survive in Columbus, man. That would have been the end of days. And it seemed to have kind of escaped. Now, people in Michigan, I haven't heard a lot about it. People just seem to kind of be brushing it off. To me, it was a something. Was it a something to you, or do you guys, that stuff just doesn't bug you guys?
No, we talked about it. I do a reaction show after every game, and we talked about it in that immediate reaction show, how that's not what we wanted to see right at that time in the game. Nobody should be having a good time the way that game was going. 100%, I'm with that. That said, in terms of Bryce meeting my expectations, he has not. I'm sure you don't. You guys are big time, probably haven't, but preseason I thought that Bryce could challenge to break Michigan's passing touchdown record, Michigan passing yards record. That's not going to happen unless we play 10 more games and maybe some extra ones after that. But so no, he hasn't met the expectation that I set out for him early in the season. Now, granted, I don't know if it was fair for me to do that either, because we just 5 games ago found a guy, a gem in terms of the wide receiver spot, right? And him producing. They recruited him. He was highly touted, top 100 guy. But until about 5-6 games ago, it was up in the air as to what he was going to be. And then he turned into something, and that's helping Bryce. Now, granted, also I heard the points about Bryce not performing against top 25 teams, and that's a fact. But you also have to account for people dropping passes. I think we might lead, or we're close to leading the nation in drop passes. And this is a freshman quarterback. You got to help him out.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel like a lot of this game, I want to ask you this because I know as Ohio State fans, we go back and forth on what happened last year. When we're talking about this game, when you come into this game, and I'm assuming, let me just flat out ask you, do you have confidence that your team, because when I had you on last year, I can't remember, was it May? Was it who's the other guest? Who's your
Maniac?
Was it Maniac that chose Ohio State to win the game?
Yeah, it was.
Last year it was. You picked your team.
I picked the good guys.
Okay. Let me ask you, what is your confidence this year? Before I get into my next point, I want to ask you about, what's your confidence? You're 90% you're going to win this game? It's a 50-50, it's 60-40. Where are you at, man?
Yeah, I'm very confident that we're going to win, right? Like,
hold up, why are you smirking? Why'd you smirk when you said that?
Well, because I thought about Justin Spiro when I said I'm very confident, because according to him, and by the way, I don't want to disparage anybody. This isn't to disparage anybody, because I know there's a lot of like-minded people in the chat and otherwise, right? But according to Justin Spiro, Michigan's win last year, even with no Jim Harbaugh and no the spy man. I don't even want to say his name here either, but with none of those guys on the sideline, was able to beat another powerful offensive team in Ohio State a season ago, right? You had a quarterback again who was at or near the top for passing efficiency and passing completion percentage. You had wide receivers who were arguably the best duo and then tandem basically room in America again a season ago. You had better running backs a season ago. All of these things, it's like a mirror match every season, right? Because you never don't have great receivers. You almost never don't have a decent enough quarterback. And by the way, speaking of quarterback, I'm sorry, squirrel moment. You also mentioned that Michigan players don't perform on the next level. You guys have like 1.5 quarterbacks. And by the way, I'm being friendly with the half that perform on the next level, but dust the rest of the NCAA off on a consistent basis. So there's that. But standing on that point, I am about a 9.5 out of 10 in terms of my confidence level for this game.
Okay, now you keep bringing up a lot about last year, and I'm not.
No, hold on.
Go.
Wait a second. You're 9.5. How about a little bet then? You're 95% confident that how about a little wager, little friendly wager here on the game with your 95% confidence metric right there? I think that I accept the fact that you're 95% confident. Let's have a little friendly wager on the game.
Okay. Before I get to that, by the way, shout out to Mello, who was an ex co-host here, who did pay up on his bet as well. So I got to give you guys that latitude. You do pay your bets. You do pay your debts. That said, I have to wear an Ohio State shirt tomorrow on my morning show because I did lose a bet already this season. And that bet was that Samaj Morgan would have more total yards than Brandon Ennis. It was a stupid bet, I know. It might have been the dumbest thing I could have done. But I'm gonna come through. I ordered an Ohio State shirt. I'm not gonna show you. It's red. It's right here. We're ripping it off Hogan style as soon as that show is over. But Nevada, I'm interested. What would be your wager here on this? On my 95% confidence.
We have to. Whatever the stakes you want to make, man. I would be. I'm your Huckleberry on that one right there, man. Because
by the way, a classic film. Val Kilmer's best acting job, in my opinion.
Absolutely. On
right.
that, we agree.
All right. So look, I don't want to bog this thing down with wagers, but I'm gonna back off of my wager. I'm gonna give you the floor there. It is what it is, right? Like the game will be played. One of us will be right. I'm okay with that. But okay. But applause to you for offering the wager. I'm sure there are Michigan fans that are upset that I'm not taking you up on it.
No, but I do want to respond because I think last year was, I do believe the 3 previous years of cheating did affect Ryan Day. I think Ryan Day was affected profoundly in terms of that he was trying to prove a point about rushing the football, and I think that stuff got into his head, and I think he's exercised a lot of those demons. How do you feel about the cheating scandal? Like, does that bother you as a fan of Michigan? I mean, again, all I could do is look at through my own prism as an Ohio State fan, and if I found out that there was institutional-wide cheating, on-field cheating that was going on for Ohio State, that would really bother me. It just would, and because I'm not a win at any cost fan, I do believe that there are certain lines in terms of doing it, and I think what Stallions did was so far over the line, and I think the fact that Harbaugh embraced it and loved it and did all that was terrible. But as a Michigan fan, I'm genuinely curious to the answer to the question: does it bother you?
So, I am not a fan of Connor Stallions, right? Because I do think he, even in the aftermath of this thing, kind of, grew his in Michigan lore. He's become kind of a superhero for Michigan, right? Which on one end is crazy, but the whole manifesto thing, I don't want to get into that either. But I don't like Connor Stallions. I'm not a huge fan of Connor Stallions. Let me say that. As far as the cheating thing, right? How can I don't want to like insult anybody. Okay. It is common knowledge that sign stealing is a thing in college football. There are people that are dedicated to it. It wasn't just Connor Stallions that is dedicated. That is his job, is to try and decode signs. That was his job at Michigan. Now the problem comes in where they say he was advanced scouting, right? And whatever. If the NCAA could have tied Michigan, and I'm talking about Michigan in any way to funding that, which Spiro alluded to having proof of, and others alluded to having proof of, but we never got to see it. If that was a thing, I would be like, okay, and I've said this before the hammer dropped, or didn't in this case, that if it was proven that Michigan funded this thing, whether it was Harbaugh or higher ups, anybody within there funding this thing, then I would be like, okay, that's not cool. We deserve whatever punishment, right? But because even in their findings, they said things like, it was found that XYZ happened, advanced scouting, whatever. And I might be misquoting that. I'm sure I am. But that isn't enough for me. I can't condemn my team for just having a guy that was more dedicated and better at it than a lot of people. Now, granted, he got caught, so there's a question on whether or not he was better at it. But I think other people aren't even like worried about getting caught if you're just doing it from the sidelines. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, so the advanced scouting, and so like you're of the opinion that because you don't have like a video of Harbaugh sending that you think that Connor Stallions out of his own pocket was able to buy tickets to hundreds of tickets to games and send other Michigan staffers and going to be down 16 hours to Cape Georgia, and you think he just kind of did that on his $50,000 a year salary?
Maybe it wasn't Connor Stallions by himself. Maybe somebody did pay for it. What I am saying though is that person might be a dark figure, right? They don't necessarily have to be tied to Michigan's football program or Michigan athletics or Michigan period necessarily, other than being a fan. What if it was a fan?
Say it was the guy that was a part of this. Let's just say the part of the board for the NIL collective for Michigan. Let's just use that as a hypothetical. Would that bug you? Would that, or would that not?
No, that would be a little different than. Yeah, I think that's a little closer to home.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, I'm just kind of curious because I've always wondered the Michigan perspective on that, because man, Ohio State fans, man, we eat our own, and Ohio State. When people like when the Tat 5 thing kind of went on, man, people were all over the players and the $50 handshakes, man. They ran that guy out of town, just excommunicated him from the program. He was the devil. And when I see, like you said, you in your introduction, Connor Stallions is a superhero. He is a hero to the Michigan people, and that would never be the case with Ohio State. I think that probably is the difference between the two programs. He would never be a hero to Ohio State fans, knowing that he was the guy that was the head of the cheating. But I appreciate you coming on very much.
Yeah.
And I find you to be a smart guy and a good guy. And again, I'm really glad that you're here. So I'm not trying to harangue you. I'm just genuinely.
No. And I'm not taking it that way, by the way. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I'm just going to take the good when I hear it, and that's the fact that you don't even like saying Stallion's name. All the other stuff, we could sit on here and go back and forth all day long. We're never going to agree on it. My final question to you is that when you were explaining your confidence, you kept bringing up last year and the fact that we still had the talent, the wide receivers, the running backs, the quarterbacks. When you completely separate that and no longer have that to go on, and you go just based off the talent on your defensive side and the offensive side of the ball, you don't have Kenneth Grant. You don't have those horses in the middle. As an Ohio State fan, when I look at your defense this year, I look at your defense as not as good in a pretty big way from last year. When I look at your offense this year, I say probably a little bit better, right? With Bryce Underwood in there over Warren. Like that is but still you got Marsh, and you're without Haynes, who is the best player on your team. Marsh a little bit injured. You're starting some, freshmen on the offensive line. You don't have your typical offensive line that your school normally has. That is my perspective. So with just focusing on this year's team, do not give reasoning based off last year, even though I do understand how that could be a part of things, especially in a rivalry game. Where you at then?
Well, I think that unfortunately the injury to Link helped us find our best combination along the offensive line. So we were on different planes there. I think this group that's out there now, the last 5-6 games, is the best combination along the offensive line. Yes, losing Justice Haynes was a big blow. That said, Jordan Marshall has stepped up and has been a pretty good doppelganger as a replacement. And he's going to play in this game. And Kuzdal a week ago stepped in for him and was pretty decent, right? The point I'm making is if you start and finish a game for Michigan this season at running back, you're almost guaranteed 100 yards, except for USC, right? And by the way, he didn't finish that game. Speaking of Justice Haynes. So there's that. As far as the defense, I'm with you. We don't have Grant and we don't have Graham, right? And those guys are it's rare that you're going to get two guys like that at the same time in the middle of the defense and along that offensive line. That's fair. I'm not going to argue against that. What I will say is this. I think at the second level, we're better. I think the linebackers are better than they were a season ago, whether it's because they got a year older and a year better with more training and watching film.
Is Ernest playing? Is Ernest Hausman playing?
Your guess is as good as mine, actually, on that. I don't know what Ernest Hausman is doing.
Sorry to interrupt you. I just
from everything I've heard, it sounds like he is. But he's also doing cryptic tweets. I don't know what's happening, honestly. It's something out of a movie. But I like Rolder. I like Sullivan. I like even the guys that come in to spell those guys, Bowles and Owusu Boateng, right? So yes, you're right on some level. The defense has taken a step back, and that's on paper too, by the way. It does look worse than it did a season ago on defense. So I'm giving you that, but I think on offense we're that much better. And something that you guys aren't bringing up, I know you mentioned fast pace, but you guys are like number one in terms of slowing the pace this year. And I think that, by the way, was pointed at this game. Now, once you get up, if you get up, then you are capable of speeding it up and maybe, blowing the doors off of this thing, or maybe even capable of speeding it up to start and then slowing it down to keep said lead. Who knows if that's the case in this game. But that's something I didn't hear anybody speak about. And that's one of the things that concerns me the most about you guys is the fact that you are able to play, it looks like, both ways.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that is something we've spoke about, not on this show in particular. Yeah. But, man, M3, I appreciate you coming on, brother. Appreciate you sharing your opinions. Respect for you showing up, brother. We got Ohio's Tate down below, several other guests to come on. So
Go Blue.
Appreciate your time, man. If you, I wish you rooted for the other team. I'd have you on way more, brother. Have a blessed day, man.
You too.
Take care. All right, everybody, here we go. Ohio's Tate on his way to the games, been blowing up Twitter. I'm sure he would have loved to have been on when Mays was on and said a couple of very nice things to him. What up, brother?
What's going on, boys? How we doing?
Oh, well, man.
We're doing good.
I like this. I like this setup right here.
Yeah. Nevada's still in awe of the things he just heard come out of a Michigan fan's mouth. I know that's what he's doing. He's trying.
Well,
He's in awe that he could hear that.
I'm having trouble processing the 95% confidence level from a Michigan fan. I'm just like, man, that is the height of delusion. But hey, this is what we're dealing with here.
That guy said he was 95% confident they're going to win tomorrow.
Yes, he did. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, that's exactly what I just said. I love this format. You guys are hearing from everybody and hearing some crazy stuff. This is a good content idea.
Yeah. We're testing the waters. We tested it last year. We're testing it again, man. But obviously, so far when I have conversations with the other side, they always bring up last year. And it's just like, I think that might be the only thing they have and can't really say much about it because we got beat on the field, right? What's your take, man? Is Ryan Day a different coach? Is he going to do something different this game? Are these boys fired up? We about to do some smash mouth football or what?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like anyone who says they're not at least a little bit nervous from the Ohio State side of things is lying through their teeth, because there's never going to – you're saying you're not nervous at all?
I said I'm not. I had that level of nervousness from last year that, hey, I hope Ryan Day doesn't try to do that, but it's not near as much as I was last year. I said it's there, but not near like it was last year.
Fair. I guess where I'm coming from is this. In my mind, there will never be another gap like how we had the talent advantage. They were missing starters, were missing players, didn't have the talent, didn't have the quarterback. We're starting to walk on, and coming off the fact with the whole sign stealing scandal, and we were going to be able to shut them up and prove that, hey, the whole reason you beat us was because of the sign stealing, and we had them at home, and we're 20-point favorites. I feel like once I saw us lose that game, in the back of my mind, that'll always be there. So as I'm heading to Ann Arbor right now, am I a little bit nervous? Yeah, I am a little bit nervous.
That's fair.
With that being said, is it a different Ryan Day? I think so. I think that he woke up after that game, and you could see it, as he walked onto the field against Tennessee throughout the whole playoffs and throughout this whole season. I think we're going to win the game tomorrow, but I'd be crazy to say that I couldn't see a way we lose.
Yeah, I mean, that is fair. Yeah, there's no – at this point in time, it's just each individual fans, whatever reasoning they have, they're going to have a feeling on that matter, and they're either going to agree with you or disagree with you. I'm not as nervous, but I think we're on the same page that, yeah, that is there. Big talent discrepancy, missed 2 field goals, but the biggest thing – I personally think this year's team is more talented than last year's team. The team we have right now, I believe we have more talent on it than we did last year. That, again, can be up for debate between Ohio State fans, yet we're still rooting for the same team, so we're on the same side. But last year's game, so many things about it, and I feel like that was their 1 in a million chance they had to win that game. They got it. How many times do people hit 1 in a million odds twice in a row?
You're exactly right, and it just irks me a little bit, because as I think about how this game's going to unfold, I really don't see them scoring, hitting their team total. I don't think they're going to get to 17 points on us. So then you think to yourself, hey, is this offense that we have, with a Heisman contender quarterback and 2 of the best receivers in the country and the best tight end room in the country and a really good freshman running back and a really good offensive line, can they get us to 17 points? Yeah, they damn well better get us to 17 points. But then, like I said, I can't not think back and think, well, they fucking got us 10 last year.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I'm calling it right now. The Wisconsin game plan of coming out and playing fast and throwing the first 12 times in the game, that's going to be the game plan tomorrow. That was a dry run for the Michigan game. They're going to try to get, while they've gone slow all year, trying to save energy and save their pop. This is the second season. They're going to let it all hang out. It's all going to be about getting the maximum number of offensive possessions tomorrow. They've got a big expected point advantage on that. And I think Ryan Day is going to go faster than he's been all season. And when we've gone fast, we've been deadly effective this year. And I think that continues tomorrow.
Nevada, if you're right, oh my God, that got me excited just thinking about it. Because if that's true, I know that's what the fan base wants to believe, and I hope you're right, and I think you're right, but like we've convinced ourselves that Ryan Day is like this mastermind that has been waiting for this moment to let it rip and let it explode. And if you're right and we come out tomorrow and we just let them have it and we put up, 30 plus points in the big house, I'm not sure there will be a better feeling than that if it's been true that he has been waiting for this moment to unload.
Well, I think we saw it last year in the playoffs. I think the offense that we ran last year in the playoffs. So it's not like we haven't run it in big games before or in clutch situations. I think he's done it. And I mean, the going slow has absolutely been by design this year. And there's no reason to go slow in a game. Ryan Day knows that. And, last year we talked about the player meeting, the infamous player meeting that we first reported on last year. And when that happened, when he got called out, the biggest thing that he got called out for was the game plan. Why did you call the game plan that you did? I mean, he got called out by players, which I've never heard of before. He ain't going to do that again. There is no way in hell he's going to come back and go, guys, I heard you last year. You guys all stood up and screamed at me for an hour and a half, and I'm going to come back out here and let's go run, pass again. I just don't see it. Ryan's a smart guy. I just can't see it happening.
That puts a smile on my face. I'm interested if we get that ball first tomorrow in Ann Arbor and it's about 25 degrees out and the place is loud. What are we coming out and doing on that first drive? If we come out and sling it and we march down the field and score, it's going to be a long day, baby.
It's going to be an RPO. It's going to, they're going to RPO the crap out of him. I mean, no, Julian Sand is the best processor that we've ever had at quarterback. He's going to read the box, see what they're given, and he's going to take. When he's been running that RPO stuff, he's been unbelievable. Put the game in Julian Sand's hands. Don't dictate what you're going to be doing pre-snap. Read the box, go out there and play with you've got a huge advantage in the pitching and catching game. Let's go do that tomorrow. I really believe that'll be. I think the first play is going to be an RPO. I think the second play is going to be RPO, and I think the third play is going to be an RPO. I really do.
I love it.
Yeah. Ohio State, I know you're pulled over, man. You got 5 minutes. This is the last thing I want to say. I think like the past 3 games that we've watched these Buckeyes played has kind of fed into that questioning whether we can play fast. It's kind of fed into that fear, that nervousness you're speaking into. But when you look at the last 3 games of who we've played, and you kind of realize that, hey, it was a scrimmage for Ryan Day, right? And he has effectively given this team an extra bye week with the slow pace of play while you're looking around all these other teams with a lot of injuries. Justice Hayes, a lot of star players not able to play. Ryan Day is focused on the NFL style of loaded team with NFL coaches, and he's done that. So I think the past 3 games, which we have dominated, and there hasn't even been close, has kind of fed into this. But I keep falling back to the Wisconsin game plan on offense. Julian Sand's best game, all the passing yards. That's what I hope to see. Ohio State, I don't know if you've given a score prediction yet or anything, but on your way out here, give us your final thoughts on the game, score prediction if you got one, and whatever else you want to say to Buckeye Nation. And also maybe a little hate speech to those delusional psycho scum fans if you want. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. Score prediction-wise, listen, I agree with what you guys are saying. I think we come out and do some things that we haven't done and that we've been saving up for. I do think Ryan Day has not fallen in love with, but enjoyed the ability to suffocate his opponents once we get up. So my prediction for tomorrow, I've got 23-6. I don't think they score on us, but I think once we get that 3-score lead, I do think that we will take that lead and suffocate them. Now, I wouldn't hurt to see 31-6 or 37-6. I think they struggle to score on us. I think we get up and kind of take the air out and beat them that way. Trash talking wise, man, I'll tell you this. All I got for you is that I wasn't planning on going to the game. I was at Thanksgiving tonight, and at about 7 o'clock, I thought to myself, there's not going to be a better feeling than, being in the big house and holding up our Ohio flags and our Ohio against the world flags, as that place clears out and turn that into an OHIO stadium cheer. So I just packed up my shit, and I'm driving there right now. I'm fired up, man, and I feel good about it. I feel good.
No, I know for a fact you feel good because I know what you got on the line. You got a walk from Ann Arbor to Columbus on the line. So you do put your money where your mouth is. And I respect that. Your confidence is way higher than what you're talking about because you put you put how many miles on the line?
Yeah,
I mean, dude, that's a walk, bro.
Yeah, it's 214 if you don't take busy roads. And it's cold as shit outside. So, and I got to carry third base. But man, not to get too far into it, but the coach they have is not the right guy. Our coach is the right guy. The idea that ours was born on third base is a crock of shit. And I do hope that Ryan Day takes an opportunity to send a message tomorrow if he can, because that dude's going to be gone in a couple of years, and we got the dude for the long haul.
I love it. Nevada, anything else?
Nah, dude, Ohio State. I haven't listened to your stuff before, but I need to because it's like you're inside my head, and I love what you're saying. I love your approach, and I love the fact that you just got in the car and you're going up to Ann Arbor and going to go see the game and go represent. I wish I could be there with you, and let's go get the victory.
I appreciate you boys. If you ever want to do content, let's set something up. All right.
Definitely,
Yeah, let's do it, brother. Hey, go Bucks, OH, man.
Go Bucks. See you, Dev. See you, Nevada.
See it. Love it, man. Took the time out to pull over on his way to Ann Arbor.
Dude, what a great guy. What a great guy.
Yeah, he's really cool. Met him. He came on the show previously, and then I saw him at the Wisconsin game. He actually recognized me, so he recognized us from the Scoop Show, so that was pretty cool to see. Nevada, you've been on here for quite some time. We are waiting on – oh, shoot, dude. I got to text Brett Getz to have him come on. He told me to text him, the SFE guy. But Nevada, I was hoping you could help me bust out some of these super chats, and then Intrinsic Duke's come on. You got to go, Nevada.
Well, look, if you need me, I'm here for you because if you need help, let me help you out.
Let's bust a couple of them out at least. Thank you, Tommy Tattoo, for the $10. We don't give a damn for the whole state of scum. Let's go, Buckeyes. Amen to that. Thank you so much for the $9.99. Apologies if you guys already covered this, but you realize that entire Allstate commercial satirized the entire scandal, us being the child they stole candy from. Was it worth it? Let's answer tomorrow. Nevada, thoughts to that?
Yeah, that thought has definitely crossed my mind. If it wasn't the intention, it was poorly. I think it was kind of in poor taste and certainly cast Michigan in a bad light. And but I do think it represents their worldview. It was worth it to them, and you can even tell by even as good as the Michigan guy was that was on, and he was a nice guy and courageous to come on here. They're not bothered by it. What I'm saying, they're not bothered by it. And like I said, short of having a video of Jim Harbaugh handing Stallions a packet full of cash and instructing them to do it, they're thinking that Harbaugh just didn't know. He didn't know who this guy was on the sideline, jumping up and down, giving screaming pass and run, and he just missed it. What I'm saying, like that. Harbaugh, the control freak, didn't know who Connor Stallions was.
Yeah,
that's believable. That's believable.
Hey, Nevada, Brett just popped up. I don't know if you want to take this opportunity to sign off for the night or not. I'm about to bring him
up. I'm signing off. If you got the great Brett Getz, I am signing off, and I love you guys, and OHIO, and let's go kick their asses tomorrow, man. I can't wait. Let's go.
I love it, Nevada. Stay blessed, man.
All right, take care, buddy.
See it. Brett, what's up, brother? How are you? Uh-oh. I may have spoke too soon. Brett, we cannot hear you. I don't know if you're on mute. I can't hear you. I can't see you. Let me text him. You are live, but can't hear or see you. All right, we'll give him a second. See if he pops back up here. Brett, you might, I don't know if you can hear me or not, but you might want to try exit it out, hitting the link again, coming back in, maybe give that a shot. Looks like that's what he's going to do. Jared, thank you so much for the $10. Drove to Ohio, where I'm from, where I'm from, and holidays to go to Cheater Arbor, the game, but caught COVID, had to come back in Nashville. Only a win tomorrow, make it all worth it. Go Bucks. Absolutely, bro. We dominate on the field tomorrow. We are winning. All right, here we go. Brett's in business now. What's up, Brett? How are you?
Hey, what's happening, Devin?
Oh, just getting stoked for this game. The game is tomorrow. Had several guests on here giving their opinions, thoughts, score predictions, the whole 9 yards. You still there?
Yes.
Okay, there you are. Yeah. You, founder of SFE, kind of a pipeline to Ohio State at the moment, have blessed us with several really good wide receivers, really good people, really good families. So thank you for that. Dive into this, man. Are you thoughts on the game, thoughts on the rivalry, everything that's led up to it? Just give us your take on it a little bit. I know you don't have long. We'll get a quick take from you.
Yeah, I'm super stoked about this game. I of course I was last year. Thought we should have won by 3 touchdowns. I don't know what happened, but I will say I think these guys are tuned in and ready to go and laser focused. And from the guys I talked to, they're very confident. I even talked to Jeremiah today, and he was talking about the weather. Us South Florida guys, not the easiest thing to play in 20 degrees and snowing. But Jeremiah had no hesitancy and said, "I've done it before. I'm going to do it again tomorrow." So playing that kind of weather. But yeah, I think it's going to be a great game. I think Ohio State should dominate the game. I think with Arvell is just going to be huge against Underwood, who's still not a great throwing quarterback. I think Ohio State's defense and Underwood being a young guy, I think is going to get confused, and I think that's going to be the key to the game. Offense is the offense. They're going to do their thing.
Yeah. Brett, I got the privilege of experiencing kind of the behind the scenes of SFE a little bit and kind of see everything that you pour into SFE, everything that you pour into these guys and these families. It is no small task what you do. I don't think people quite realize the things that you do for these players, man. What is it like? Because you get real close to them. You become almost like a dad figure to a lot of these players, man. I saw that physically in person. Man, what's it like? Getting close to Jeremiah, Carnell, and some of these other players, Mylan Graham, Brandon Ennis. What's it like watching these, going from being as close as you are to them, as close as you were to them, coaching them on SFE, and then watching them on a stage like this, man? Just give us a little insight on what that feeling's like, man.
Oh, it's great. I've been doing it for 20 years and watched a lot of guys go on to success in college and the pros. But those 3 guys I'm, incredibly close to. It's really cool that, the 3 guys that play with SFE are starting at a huge program like Ohio State and doing it at such a high level. The funny thing is, my wife, who I don't think has ever watched college football in her life, probably never watched a football game in her life, will not miss an Ohio State game because she knows those guys really well also. So every single Saturday, she's canceled her hair and nail appointments. She's canceled her friend lunches. And just to make sure, at game time, she's watching it. And then she doesn't realize that I'm usually at the game or watching the game, and she's still giving me play-by-play. And I have to keep reminding her that I'm at the game. I can see what's happening. But that, to me, that's what really stands out because her dad played college football. But, he had 2 girls and they didn't care about football. So to watch my wife enjoy watching the Buckeyes and, watching these 3 guys, or there's more than 3 that from SFE on Ohio State, but it's just a great thing. And it's great. Tomorrow I'm going to a good friend of mine's house down in Miami to watch the game. I had to cancel, man. I will be honest. I kind of got a little soft myself, this Florida guy, when it's 85 here and I saw it was 25 and snowing tomorrow. I got a little bit worried that I'd be stuck in Ann Arbor. So I canceled and going to relax and watch the game on TV, man. I don't know if I'll be relaxed, but I'll be watching the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Final question. I know you're slam busy at all times.
You're good. I'm good.
Man, having these players, right? It almost feels like you're watching family members play football, but you also coach a lot of other really great young men that go off to a lot of different colleges. So do you have a team you're rooting for here? How far in connected to you are with Ohio State? Are you a screw scum? I'm crossing out M's here. Are you a, hey, let's sit back and watch a good football game? how in depth are you with as many SFE guys that you got playing for Ohio State? How
Well,
into this rivalry are you? Do you consider
no,
yourself a Buckeye?
oh, I consider myself a Buckeye, especially in this situation. I don't. I do know Tony Alford very well, and I know Aaron, who's runs recruiting, and I consider them friends and great people. But listen, I am going all OHIO tomorrow, and I'm excited to watch these guys. I think it's their turn this year. I think they're destined to win another national championship. And I love their focus. Talking to these guys, I mean, they are laser focused, and they know. I mean, honestly, I watch a lot, I'm watching a game right now, the Texas game, and look, there's really no team that should be able to beat Ohio State, but you still got to play the game. You still got to play some tough ones. I'm really looking forward to, hopefully, the game next week against Indiana. Mendoza is a kid that played for SFE. So I'm excited to see him play against Ohio State next week, and should be a good one.
Yeah, I love that you said that, man. These Buckeyes, I mean, coming into the preseason, I feel like a lot of people felt like we were playing with house money. Like this team might have a year of Julian Sand, might have a year of growth and not be as dominant as they are. But we have come out, a lot of people talk about not that tough of a schedule, but we have made teams not look so tough. Washington, a very good team. Texas, a good team. And we've done what we've needed to do. We've done what the number one team in the nation should do to lesser opponents at times, and we've done it with ease, man. So coming into this game, a lot built up on it. We got to go into the Blouse house tomorrow, but I got a lot of confidence in Ryan Day. We watched what he did in the playoffs, man. So, Brett, dude, appreciate you coming on, bro. You got any final words for Buckeye Nation? Any thoughts on the rivalry, anything like that?
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to Mark Pantoni.
Okay.
My buddy since I'm a Gator actually by degree, by on paper. So I've known Mark since back in the day when he was University of Florida with Urban Meyer. So I got all the confidence in the world and for him to continue to recruit at such a high level. And I think as long as Mark is in that program, I think we're going to continue to have success every year.
Yeah, I'm not going to ask you who the Buckeyes are flipping right now. I know you probably know. I won't get into that right now and ask you. But I appreciate it, dude. Appreciate everything you do for football in general, for those young men on SFE, and continue being a Buckeye brother. Appreciate you joining the show.
Yeah, hey, Devin, thanks for having me, and go Buckeyes.
Yep. OH, Brett.
See you later.
See you. Brett, an amazing person. Got to spend some time with them, build a little friendship there through SFE. So, an amazing dude. And I'm telling you guys right now, if you knew everything that he does for these young men who play for SFE and their families, man, that man right there deserves the utmost respect. And all of college football, all of football in general. He was the one that kind of started 7-on-7 football. Wasn't a big thing, and he kind of went out and did this. So when you're watching 7-on-7 football, you're watching these players, some of these players getting opportunities they wouldn't have if it wasn't for people like Brett. So huge shout out there, man. But we got a guest waiting below, another one that Buckeye fans are all too familiar with. Big fan of him. Gonna get him on here, talk a little bit about the game. Intrinsic, thanks for waiting, brother. How are you?
Fantastic. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Just trying to contain my excitement as much as I can, but I just can't help it. Obviously, you are fully aware of everything that has occurred, right? These past 4 games with the Buckeyes and all the on and off field shenanigans that have went on. The fact that they got a slap on the wrist. I just feel like this game is kind of like what it should have been last year, right? The whole game, Ohio State talked about a little bit that, hey, we wanted to show them, right, that their cheating mattered and all that. It didn't quite happen for whatever reason. It was their 1 in a millionth chance, and they did it last year. I say, what are the odds people hit 1 in a million chances twice in a row? But just give us your take, man. I don't know how much you're involved and how often you've watched this rivalry game, but give us your take, man. Do you feel like this is a pretty big game tomorrow?
Well, I'm here to bring the national perspective, right? Michigan State
Absolutely.
fan. But so I think nationally, we got to understand that Bryce Underwood was committed to LSU, right? And he had a quote, which is important. He said, development at the quarterback position, if you look at history, that was a big thing for me in choosing LSU. And I think that's important because Chip Lindsey, the offensive coordinator for Bryce Underwood, right at Michigan, Drake May regressed under him. And during the season, so I follow the Michigan football team a lot closer than you Buckeyes, but Bryce Underwood has regressed this season. He is choked under pressure, and the same thing happened with Drake May, with Chip Lindsey. We see how good Drake May is. So yeah, I just look at it as Michigan's offense, which is better than last year. It's still not a good offense. The only two, like the two ranked opponents they played, they were physically outmatched in both those games by USC, right? And USC is not a very physically imposing team on defense either. So I think Ohio State definitely better than USC, definitely better than Oklahoma. I think physically, you guys are just going to dominate them because I've watched Michigan all year, and it's the same thing. If their run game's not going, and they're not playing downhill with the lead, they're not a good team. I mean, they struggled to score against Purdue, Northwestern. I mean, teams that are really bad are putting up 20 against them. So you take an Ohio State offense, I don't see how they score less than 28 points this game. And I don't see how Michigan, who could only score like 22 versus Purdue, I don't see how they score above 17. So
yeah, I love you brought up Bryce Underwood, man. A lot of people, a lot of Scum fans talking they're going to be their saving grace. I just don't understand how they can look at what he's done on the field and quite frankly, even off the field, the things that he's done at the end of the USC game over there, chopping it up, smiling, laughing, everything's fine. Top 25, he's throwing 37.5% completion percentage, 9 touchdowns on 5 interceptions. I mean, people talk about the Maryland game. He looks so good. I mean, I watched a Maryland safety catch one of his passes and then just seemingly just drop it in his legs. If he can utilize those, I know Ohio State is really focusing on those because the Buckeyes have the best secondary in the nation. They're really focused on his legs. We got Arvell Reese, Caleb Downs, we saw what our defense did to Washington, one of the best mobile quarterbacks in the nation. I mean, shut him down. But hey, Intrinsic, we got Funky on here as well, so I'm going to let Funky talk a little bit here. I've been on here for 2.5 hours now. I've said a lot. I'm going to let you and Funky have a little conversation back and forth for a second. Funky, what's up, brother?
What's up? Thanks for having me, Devin. Very, very excited for tomorrow. Clearly, it's going to be, a fun game as it always is, but hopefully this time, for the first time, since 2019, it goes in our favor. It's also the first time I'm going to watch it on television, Dev, as I said on here before. So the first time since 2019 that I've watched it on TV. And coming back here, I like the vibes there, but then Pitt wins on a buzzer beater 3, just like they did last year, Devin, versus us in basketball, and they just won on a buzzer beater 3 again today. So those not good vibes. So honestly, I'm just gonna go to bed and just hopefully, good things happen tomorrow. But I'm very excited for the Buckeyes, and I definitely am feeling good. I mean, as we should. We're big favorites. Yeah, big favorites again, going in Ann Arbor versus our freshman quarterback with the best defense in the country, with a elite quarterback leading the Buckeyes, with a healthy team, with Carnell healthy, with Jeremiah Smith with healthy, and with Lorenzo Styles probably banged up a little bit, but all 3 expect to play. So we're going to be down 0 starters through 12 games, which is really unheard of, and I really should knock on wood, but it's so no, obviously no excuses. There really never is, but really nothing that I can even look to a reason why I shouldn't feel confident. So it's going to be a fun time tomorrow. But yeah, thanks for having me, Dev, and good to see you Instinctive on the show today.
What's up, Funky? Yeah, Michigan fans have been obsessed with the weather. Have you guys noticed that? Like, I don't know how much you follow their shows. I follow their shows because they always are saying something stupid I could post on X. But they just talk about the weather nonstop. Like this, they had a thing with Balas and Safi and them, and it was like preview for the game, and it just the weather, the weather, the weather, the weather. I mean, how many times are these guys refreshing the weather app? Like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like they're very confident about their team. I mean,
Yeah. Sorry, I agree with that 100%. And I brought that up. I think I was with you, Dev. It was like, why are they so obsessed with the weather? They're acting like Ohio State isn't 3 hours away from them. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, we saw what we did to Tennessee last year and when it was colder than what it is in Michigan. But it's also just funny how like the weather gods turn against them, and it's going to be what feels like 25 last time I checked, and about 30 because I check every single time with not really strong winds with snow that's supposed to happen and probably later in the game, the fourth quarter, it says at 2 p.m. so whenever that is. So but it's just funny, and it's when you start stalking the weather, your team is the only time you should be monitoring the weather is when it's like extreme gusts or some sort of extreme weather that you're not used to, not when it's in Michigan and it's 30 degrees. That doesn't really make any sense for any reason, especially because the teams are from Ohio and Michigan. It's not not from the South. You're not getting a team from the South. You're not getting USC in the calls, USC going to Michigan. You're getting Ohio State and Michigan. I mean, two teams that have played snow games before. This is not abnormal.
Yeah, I mean, it needs to be wet and windy. Like wet ball and windy conditions, those two things can affect it, but it's not going to be, I mean, the snow is not going to be wet. But regardless, yeah, I think Michigan, if you look at it, they run a bunch of like gimmicky formations. Have you guys noticed that? A bunch of like overload stuff you couldn't run in the NFL. So I think I've watched this Michigan team closely. They try to get the run going with all these different gimmicky formations. They're saying that Ohio State isn't very good against the run because I think that is the weaker part of your defense because you're number one against the pass, right? So what they're hoping to do is probably run all these gimmicky formations. I bet Bryce Underwood gets easily over 10 carries. And because they just can't throw the ball. I don't see them being able to throw the ball, being able to trust Bryce Underwood dropping back. He hasn't done that all season. They hope to run like the RPO, and if his first read's not there, he's choking. So yeah, I'm extremely confident for you guys. I mean, the only argument they say is last year. Like last year. Last year has nothing to do with this year. Like a fluky win can happen anytime. Like it doesn't make a difference. But I mean, I think this year's team, like Julian Sand, when I have watched him, he's calm. He always seems calm and he plays within himself. And that's the one way I could see this game going against you guys is if you run up like 3 or 4 turnovers. But even then, I think you still beat them. I just don't think this Michigan team is very good. Well, because their defense, right, was very good. I mean, their defensive line especially. Their defensive line is nowhere near that. Like, I think you guys are going to be the more physically imposing team. I think you're going to have an easier time running the ball. And I just think the control is going to be there the entire game.
Yeah, I know. I agree with that. And we do a really good job. The good thing about 12 personnel, that it's really easy to set up pass pro because you don't really know who's blocking. You can have a lot of more chippers, and you have the running back also there for protection. So you end up protecting Julian a lot, which is has really helped with his, his calm presence on the field because he's been able to avoid the turnover. I think he threw his first pick very recently in a game. Well, it was the Penn State game. I think that's the last time he threw a pick. Dev, please correct me on that if I'm wrong. But I believe that was the last time he threw a pick, and that was the only pick he's thrown versus a Power 5 team all year. I can't think of another one since the Penn State game, and I knew he didn't throw one from the Ohio U game to the Penn State game. He had 0 interceptions. And he had 1 versus Penn State, and I don't believe he had 1 against any other team. And I credit a lot of that to our protection and what the 12 personnel and being really not putting him in situations where he has to risk it. He threw 1 versus Purdue.
That's it. The other 3 were Grambling and Ohio. The only pick against Power 4 is 1 against Purdue.
Oh, you're right. It wasn't Penn State. It was Purdue. Okay, so yeah, only 1 versus Purdue in the end zone, in the red zone, up a few scores. So he's done a really good job protecting the ball. And you're right. I think that's about the only thing they can do to really. I mean, that's what they did last year as well. So they got a big interception in the red zone. It's pretty much a pick 6. And then we turn it over again in our red zone. So that's 10 points there minimum. Then we missed 2 field goals, easy field goals. So that's 6 points right there. So if you have 10 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, that's 19 points. And that's the game right there. I mean, that's the game right there. If we don't throw those interceptions and we make our field goals, we probably win. Even last year, how badly we played last year, we still probably win, by a touchdown. Or who knows? It's just a closer game, but we probably still win it. We only lost by 3, so it's not that irrational to really come to that conclusion. And Michigan offensively, it's just going to be interesting to see what they can do. Their tackles are really bad. They've got really bad tackles, so they're going to have to rely on, you're right, gimmicky formations, on these heavy power set runs. I bet you they're going to try to do what Penn State did with those big offensive line sets, the pitches to the outside, testing our edges and run defense. And it's gonna be obviously it's gonna be interesting. And they're obviously they're a good team. They're a top 30 team in the nation, and going on the road in a rivalry isn't gonna be easy, in my opinion. The spread's 10, so that's expected to be within a score or two for most of the game. I have a rough time thinking that they're gonna have that much success on us offensively. So my score prediction's somewhere between 14 and 20 for their score, and you just got to hope that we get in the end zone 3 times or more. But yeah, so I think they'll score anywhere between 14 and 20 points. I have a really, really tough time seeing them score more than 20, because no team's been able to score more than 16 versus us, and very few teams have scored even double digits before the game has gone completely out of hand. So I'm not sure if you said a score prediction yet, but I'm interested to see what you guys have to say about that. I'm sure you have, Dev, but just say it again for me to hear.
So my score prediction is 34-10 Buckeyes. But I have some interesting things to pull up here real fast. I was just getting them again. You look at first off, intrinsic, you mentioned our rushing defense. Just to let you know, we have the number 2 rushing defense in the nation. And teams are averaging 80 yards per game on the ground for us. So this year's rushing defense is way better than last year's rushing defense for us. If you ask me, I really like our linebacker position this year in Caden McDonald, Tywan Malone, Edric Houston in the middle with Caden Curry, absolute freak shows. So I really like our defensive front this year. But when you look at Scum's schedule, it's very similar to Ohio State's, if you ask me. We've played Washington and Texas. They've played Oklahoma and USC. When they played Nebraska, they gave up 308 passing yards against Nebraska. Purdue, they won by 5 points. They gave up 253 rushing yards against Purdue. Northwestern, they won by a last-second field goal. They gave up 184 passing yards. In Maryland, this past time, they gave up 276 passing yards. So their secondary is extremely weak. Really, really bad, if you ask me. And, I mean, USC exposed that. They also exposed their inability to stop the run at times. So, I mean, Scum's game plan is the same it's always been. If they are not able to run the ball, they do not stand a chance. And when you look at our defense this year with Matt Patricia, they've only given up over 100 yards 4 times in their 11 games. And that is hard to do, even with a weak schedule. And a lot of the times they did that, it's because our second-string defense was in the fourth quarter, and they trotted down the field rushing the ball and scored. Literally, if I calculated how many rushing yards this defense has given up when the second-string defense was on the field, probably about 400 rushing yards has been given up by our second-string defense. And that's a lot. But I really like where our rushing defense stands as of now.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they're, I think, banking on, just being able to rush the ball against you guys. Because obviously, even in the Oklahoma game, one thing was very apparent. If they're in 3rd and long, they're screwed. You've seen all the different stuff that Oklahoma's D threw at them on 3rd and long, and Matty P's got more than that. So, yeah, I think how I see the game going, I don't think Sherrone Moore has a good control of his team. He even mentioned this week having trouble keeping them off their cell phones, right? Because they're peeping in on the game. So I just think this team is a very up and down young team. And I think at some point during this game, they're going to break. Because Bryce always gives a big turnover in games like this. Every single time he'll have a nasty turnover, you guys will score, and I think the momentum leaves the building. You can feel it, and then the score. Then you guys pull away. So I think like early they'll have some energy and it'll feel close. And then I feel like sometime maybe late second quarter, early third quarter, the game just breaks away. And I see it being like a 31-17. I think you guys win by at least 14.
I
I mean, I
see
have
us.
the
Sorry, I see us going for the kill right away.
think
I
so.
really do. I mean, I just think so. I think I'm not sure if you watched us play versus Wisconsin, but pretty much to sum it up, we knew going into the game that their defensive line was their strength of their team. I'm pretty similar to Michigan in that sense. And Wisconsin's been low-key giving a lot of teams trouble in the Big Ten on the D line, which is odd for a team that's been as bad as they are, even on the defensive side. So Ohio State winning that game, we passed. It was like the first 12 plays, 11 of them were passes. Julian Saint ended up throwing like 40 times versus Wisconsin, who, I mean, obviously it's Wisconsin. It's not a very elite team at all. So usually we wouldn't want to throw it 40 times. But that aggression was something we have not seen from Ryan Day in a while. And we have not seen that type of aggression since the Wisconsin game. And that really makes me think that was just kind of a tester saying, how can we do this? And I think we liked what we saw, and we're going to go high pace, high tempo, a lot of plays, play at a really fast pace, and throw the ball a lot. And I'm not just saying that 'cause that sounds like very like a Madden thing to say, but I just think we're the better team, and making this game limiting the possessions of the game just doesn't make any sense to me personally. It just from what I've been hearing from practice, because this week has been the biggest week for practice until I've ever gotten, Devin, because I've been just trying to see who's practicing, who's playing, and just the vibes out of practice, and really the vibes from the entire team this week is oddly really good. Just very odd. From my time following Ohio State and obviously being a part of this message board world indirectly for my entire life, it's usually this week the practices are not good, are very just hyper aggressive. Everyone's just like super on edge 24/7, and it's just some blow ups obviously happen, and it's not the cleanest week of practice ever. But this week I've heard it's very calm, very easy minded, and the guys like the game plan. And to me, that can only mean one thing. I don't know that. I'm not sure exactly, but that's my guess. So if you see Ohio State pass it for the first 10 times and only run it on the second and ones for 3 yards, then you know who said that. And a lot of people are saying this as well, but that's just my prediction for the game. But we'll see in the first quarter though, because I think it could get ugly fast. I think we're going to go for the jugular right away and get the fans leaving by the third quarter.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Because, I mean, the more plays there are, period, Ohio State is the better team. The more players there are in this game, the worse that is for Michigan. I mean, Michigan wants to limit the number of plays and hopefully control on the ground, which I just don't see any one of those happening. It's just what Ohio State wants to do. Is Ohio State just okay running it, forcing Bryce, just running off their defense? I mean, that's the only thing with how much are they going to win by? That's where I'm at.
Yeah, they might audible too. They might use this like the Texas game and be like, "Hey, we're up 14-0," and like we did in the Texas game, Arch Manning couldn't do anything. Like, we were like he couldn't do anything. So it might turn into that game, and then we might start running a slow pace and being pretty conservative and just playing field position. But if it's not like that, and Michigan's having some sort of success offensively, I just see Ohio State pass, hyper aggressive. But obviously, I could totally see the game getting, 14-3, and then Ohio State going pretty conservative and just making Bryce Underwood beat us. Because odds are he can't. Just odds are he can't. Maybe he does. Maybe the true freshman with a freshman wide receiver, by the way, who's a great wide receiver. Andrew Marsh is definitely a fantastic wide receiver. Can definitely see him playing the NFL one day. But besides for him, the rest of them are mid. They're okay. Their tight ends are Their running backs are meh. Their offensive line's below average, in my opinion. I don't know how they're up for the Joe Moore Award. That doesn't make any sense to me. But must just be because they run for a lot of yards. But they're also halfway injured, so we'll see how they, hold up versus a defensive line at Ohio State who has 3 NFL guys on it. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, it's just crazy. We've been able to do all of it. We've been able to go at the slowest pace. We literally have the slowest pace this entire season. But I think that's very purposeful. We all say this for the snap count. It's masterful that Ryan Day is able to do this and save the legs of the players. it'll be interesting to see if that's actually what his plan is, to save the legs, and that's not actually, but how can I say this? And that's not the actual way he wants to win. Because there's a chance that Ryan Day thinks the surest way for Ohio State to win is to play at an extremely slow pace. And I think we'll find the answer for that tomorrow versus Michigan, see at what pace we start off the game at. Because if it's super slow, that won't completely shock me, just because maybe that's the surest way Ryan thinks we can win this game. Do I agree? No, but Ryan Day is Ryan Day, and I'm Funky Buckeye. So I'll listen to Coach on that one. But that's just something that's just my I'll let you talk, Devin.
I don't think that's going to be the case whatsoever. I think we're going to see Wisconsin. Just when you look at the football aspect of it, Ohio State, Intrinsic said it, has the better athletes, the better players on the field. But Intrinsic, I appreciate you coming on so much. We have our final guest waiting below. Intrinsic, you got any final thoughts or words on the game and for Buckeye Nation or the nation in general?
Just give them the belt. I'll be looking forward to it. Watching for you guys.
Yes, sir. That's what I want to hear.
I'll be posting Bryce Underwood clips on it, I'm sure. I think you guys are going to get a pick. Sure.
I love it, man. Yeah, we're going to give you some good underwear sacks for you to put up on your Twitter page. Intrinsic, thank you so much for coming on, brother. We'll catch you next time.
Thank you.
Yeah, good to hear from Intrinsic. Guys, real quick, here's the link for the Biletnikoff Award. Jeremiah Smith only leading by 2%. It's crazy because he's 100% the best wide receiver in the nation. Final guest waiting down below. You've seen him several times. None other than Duke Pettyjohn. Duke, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's up, man? How's it going?
Dude, it's going, bro. I'm going on 2 hours and 45 minutes of a 3-hour stream. So we're hitting the end of it. My body's telling me to go eat something, but we got to finish this thing strong, dude. Big time game tomorrow, bro. I'm juiced. I literally feel like I'm waiting in line for the national title game. For real. Like, that's my excitement level at this point. Where are you at, bro?
Hey, I'm here. Look, I'm in the belly of the beast. I'm in at my buddy's house in Detroit with all Michigan fans. So, I just got here, so he's allowing me to, use his office right here. But then I'm gonna go downstairs and rattle some cages.
There we go.
Yeah, for and they was like, no.
Dang, so you really in the middle of it, bro. By the way,
I'm on. So what? So we on a 8 Mile road. I'm on 10 Mile road in Detroit.
10 Mile. Yeah. Hey, dude. By the way, this is Funky, my co-host. By the way, Funky, what you got?
What's up, Duke? Funky? I have one question for you. I know you're from Texas, and I even know Riley was. Well, Texas was in his final 3, I believe, in the recruiting process. But Texas A&M right now, who do you want to win and who do you think's going to win? It's 10-3. Texas is driving. They're in the red zone of A&M right now.
Torn, man. I like, he got teammates with that play at A&M. I mean, at Texas, and I got some of my former teammates' son that plays for A&M. I like A&M.
Okay. No, I agree.
It's just I don't know. It's just something about Texas.
Did Reed get hurt?
No, he back. Yeah. It was just an ankle. He just turned his ankle. He's back though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they scored. He's back.
It looked scary. I was like, wow. The first time I saw it, I was like, Achilles maybe, but I'm glad it wasn't. I'm just kind of worst case scenario.
Okay. When they showed the replay, I was like, okay, it's just that ankle. Hopefully he can get back from that. Yeah, but he walked off. So. Yeah, he's back. But Texas is driving right now. Dang, I'm missing that. But yeah,
they are. Well, hey, man, we ain't worried about that game, dude. We got a bigger game going on tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
So tell us about it, man. You're in a Daniel came on earlier, so I love this. You're in a position where you love football. Obviously, you played in the NFL, you played at the highest level you possibly could, and you succeeded very well at that. So you love football. You love watching football.
Yeah, I do.
But you're also a father of a big-time football player who plays for Ohio State, made several big highlight reel plays already in his Ohio State career.
Yeah.
First, tell us about the dad side of it, man. What's it like being the dad coming into your first rivalry game? speaking with Riley, what's his thoughts? How's he soaking all this in, and how are you soaking this in, you and Juliet, as parents?
Man, well, one is I love rivalry games, man, and being at it last year, and but it's hard to separate the football side because it's just in me. So I'm
Yeah.
excited like that for like for the rivalry, and but seeing we were on the recruit side last year, and leaving the stands. And one looking at him, I think who was next to us, Tavian, and a couple other 25 kids. He's walking down the stairs like, nah, it ain't. This is the last one. It ain't happening here. And with all that's going on, after the game, Riley's trying to inch his way out there, and I'm like, chill out. And now him being out on the field, and
Yeah.
just talking, this week, and just seeing how antsy and hyped they are, they got my juices flowing, man. So I'm gonna have to compose myself here in the stands tomorrow too. I already know.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I actually have a win in the big house, so I'm already I'm
We
up
love.
I'm up
We need that.
I'm 1-0 on Raleigh right now.
We need to bring that. You need to bring that energy in there tomorrow. So,
Yeah.
dude, from the
So
football,
yeah, the last time I was in there, we won. So how about that?
yeah, they're going to continue the trend, dude. When you look at the football side of things, I don't know how much of the scum games you have watched this year. I know you've watched every Ohio State game. Talk
Yeah.
to us about the defensive side of the ball. Defensively, what do these Buckeyes need to come out and do?
Contain yeah, keep Underwood in the pocket.
Yeah, his name,
We
Duke. His name's actually Underwear, but I get it though.
okay. All right. Yeah. Keep the QB in the pocket. Yeah, and just keep him from scrambling, and make him beat you, and make him beat you with his arm. I had a lot of practice of scheming up for running quarterbacks. So I think we'll be well prepared for that. And then like from there, it's just smash mouth football, man. And records go out the window, as you guys know, when it comes to these games, especially a game, in this series, for sure. So it's gonna be a crazy physical game. I know it. I'm looking forward to it, and but I feel we're most equipped to handle the physicality of the game and the mental side of the game, to where we'll be able to keep our emotions in check while also dominating them in the process.
Yeah.
I see that. I mean, it's not going to be an easy game because they never are. But we're built to we're built to beat them down.
Yeah.
And it's definitely, I can say, from being around this game last year, and now being in it like this year, I don't feel as though they made too much of the game. You know what I mean?
Good.
They have a,
Yeah.
a approach of and I thought this like last year too, man. Like, treat every opponent the same, man. Don't put make any game bigger than than the next, because you got to win them all. And I feel like they kind of came back to not like to that. Like, yeah, it's an important game. It's the next game on, and it's a big game, but it's not any bigger than the one we had before or after. And I like that approach, because it keeps it keeps that clarity. You can go in the game relaxed and do the things that you prepared for, and don't play outside of yourself. So I like that adjustment that I noticed.
Yeah. All right, Funky. Hey, I know you got to get off here. You got anything for Duke before you go? What you got?
Yeah, I mean, just go Buckeyes. I appreciate everyone tuning in. Thanks, Devin, for hosting this. There's a ton of good people that were on this stream. Good to finally, talk to you in person, Duke. I've been watching, obviously, anytime you're on the show, I'm watching. So I got to meet Mr. Sanchez, but now I got to meet Mr. Pettijohn. So that's cool. And I hope to, hope hopefully you guys bring home a victory tomorrow. Because as Devin knows, I am banned from Ann Arbor. So self-banned from Ann
Dang.
Arbor. Parents don't let me go. Parents don't let me go. So
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Funky would go to jail.
Funky
be
would
in jail.
I would be in jail. And
Okay, yeah, we
and
don't want that.
yeah, people my size don't do good in jail either. So it's all good. But yeah, no, I'm excited, and yeah, I mean the household's ready, and I don't know, yeah, go Bucks, and my score prediction 31-17, which is rare. That's the most points that any team has put up on us all year. So I'll give them credit to
Yeah.
that. But I think we have success passing the ball. I think Jeremiah and Carnell both get one. I think Max Clare leads the team in receptions, and we go out fast, score a lot, and then we probably go score 24 in the first half and slow it down in the second half, get one in at the end, while the opposing team is leaving the stands, and we could hear OHIO across the stadium in Ann Arbor, just like 2019.
Yes.
So yeah, go Bucks, and thanks for having me, Dev. And yeah, I'll see y'all later.
Oh, hold on, Funky. Before you get out of
sorry,
here,
sorry.
I'm gonna give you the Caleb Downs response to them scoring 17 points.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Yeah.
You're wrong. I mean, I never tell you
I
this,
hope
Funky,
so.
but you're wrong.
17 is
But you
heavy, I think.
You have a
Hey,
blessed night, brother. Take
yeah,
care.
take care, David.
All right,
Yeah.
Funky. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know about that
you saw
17.
on the Downs to Business podcast. Somebody was on there with him. Oh, Josh Downs, his brother gave a score prediction, something similar to what Funky said, and Caleb's like, "What? 17?" Of course, he
Yeah.
didn't say it because he's a player. He's not going to come out and do all that talking.
Right,
But
right.
I got an interesting question for you. I got maybe 5 minutes of gas left in me. This is the last question I got for you, and I'm going to have to get out of here. But
Mhm.
bro, you have never been in this game, but you've played in games that require like mental strength outside of what you can do physically, right? You got to go.
Yeah.
Every football game has a
All the
mental side
games.
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But some have a little more than others, right? When you go into a rivalry game, there's a big mental aspect of it. I know the job is to not let that happen. But when
Mhm.
it does happen, speak to that a little bit. Speak to the games where the mental aspect seemed a little bit harder, right, for you to deal with than other games.
Well, those would be more games where, all right, they have they just have a funky offensive scheme, man. They got a whole bunch of, motions, a lot of like eye candy and stuff, and funky formations. That's where like the mental part comes in. And in this game, in games like this, the mental is keeping your composure. That's it. It's more the physical in games like this, to where you don't get too high to where you're getting gassed, because you're trying too hard, and you're overthinking a play, right? Because you may have messed up on a previous play. Like the biggest key is to just stay in the moment and do your job, and don't do anything that you have that you don't have to do anything different. They don't have to do anything different than they've been doing all season, right? But it's the attention to detail, and I feel like that's where we have the biggest edge, is like just not beating ourselves, not putting ourselves behind behind the sticks, with silly penalties, or substitution issues, or like we just don't do that, right? So I've the games that I was able to like catch and look in on, I saw a lot of that, a lot of substitution delays, just silly penalties, erratic quarterback play, when he's pressured, and I mean and all that, because they're young. They're a young team. They got a lot of pressure, and I'm sure he has a boatload of pressure on him. Especially coming to this game. This is his first game. He talked a lot of trash about, this game. So, he wrote a check that it's about to come due.
That thing bouncing, homeboy.
We about to make a deposit. I mean, a withdrawal. So they know that the guys know that's out there, and now it's time to play. All
Yeah.
the haze in the barn, as they say. Now it's time to bang,
Yeah.
and
I
we
love
we
it,
got
man.
we got we got some bangers, and
Yes.
man, I'm just boy, I can't wait, bro.
Yeah.
I just can't wait. I'm not looking forward to the cold, but uh, prepared for it. So
Bro, you got your toboggan on, man. You ready. Look
yeah,
at
yeah,
you.
yeah,
You
yeah.
already ready, dude.
Pick that
Yeah.
one up. Yep. Yeah,
Yeah, there you
yeah.
go.
I'm mad I don't have enough on because
Yeah.
in where I am, just so I can
Oh yeah, you need to rock some
strut
more.
like a peacock. But they're gonna hear
No, man. Yeah. I guarantee it, dude. I love it, man. It's going to be a rowdy game. I mean, it's the biggest
Yeah.
rivalry in all of sports. So there's going to be some shenanigans happen on
Oh
the
yeah.
field. They've been
Oh yeah.
known to untie our players' cleats and take them off during the game. They've been known to do all kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So high energy game. I love that you brought up these guys really got to focus and not having that adrenaline dump of coming
Hmm.
out super stoked and then just get gassed on that first drive.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen. I love the mentality that these players and Ryan Day seem to have from the interviews we've gathered.
Hmm.
It's a whole lot different than the mentality that we heard and saw last year from interviews, in my opinion. So I really
Yeah.
like where this team seems to stand mentally. Duke, you got any final thoughts, any final words for Buckeye Nation about the best rivalry in all of sports tomorrow at
Yeah.
noon?
Yeah, I say, man, hey, look, just like enjoy the game, man, and just the only expectation you should have is on the outcome. Don't worry about the play calling, pace of play, like whatever, because his philosophy and his approach has proven successful. So let's just be behind it and enjoy it, and just get rowdy and let these Michigan people know what the Buckeyes are about. And this is
Yeah,
just going to be the beginning, the setting off point for this for the second natty, and this is
yeah,
about to be the springboard going into that. So hey, let's just have some fun, man. Let's just
yeah.
have some
I
fun.
love it,
And
brother.
hey, shoot, and if we're all in attendance, let's make some noise, right? Let's make it, because I know, hey, look, once we get up on them, it gets quiet in there. It gets
Oh,
quiet,
yeah.
eerily quiet. It's so weird. And it doesn't get as loud. I don't know. Don't they call it the loud house or something like that? What do they call
Bro,
that place?
I call it the blouse house. I don't know
It
what
ain't.
they call it.
Well, I just know it's not loud. I just know it's not
Yeah.
loud. So we have an opportunity to take over and OH them the hell up out of there.
Yeah, IO baby. Yes, sir. I love it, man. I love it. Dude, make sure they hear that in that house tonight. Right when you're laying down, right before you fall asleep, just at the top of your lungs, give them a big old OH. You know what I'm saying? Really start it off nice, dude. That'd be great.
Right.
Or if you
Hey,
got a
it's right
Bluetooth
here.
speaker, at 2 o'clock in the morning, start playing the Ohio State fight song. That's what I would do if I was there. You know
Oh,
what
I
I'm
know.
saying?
Hey, you know what? I might do that leaving the hotel in the morning. Yep.
Got
Because I
to,
saw two
bro.
people with their stuff on, and I'm like, dang, I don't have nothing on. But I did say OH to them, so but they didn't respond.
Yeah, here we go. I love it, Duke. Hey, brother, I
Yes.
appreciate you taking the time out to come
Oh, no
on, man.
doubt,
It's
man.
always nice hearing from you. We'll get you back on again, brother. Stay blessed,
Oh
man.
yeah.
Go Bucks. OH.
All right, bro. IO.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Last guest of the night. I got some more super chats to go over. Got to get these done. Karis, thank you so much for the $1.99. 120 to nothing, Buckeyes. Oh man, that would be so sweet. That would make my year. The Boo Boo. What's up, Boo Boo? Thanks for the $4.99. Connor Stallions posted a video talking crazy. Of course he did. That's all he has is craziness. I watched some of his film breakdowns. He sounds like an absolute idiot. He does not know much about football. The only thing he knows how to do is cheat and make himself look good. Dude's a loser. Sean Rollins, thank you so much for the. I don't know if this is another 20, but if it is, thank you so much, brother. Seriously. Mike Green, thanks for the $4.99. What up, Mike? I'm so happy being on the road. It matches who we are, coming in straight dogs. This is my favorite team of all times because of our no BS mentality. I love it, man. That's what they got to have, dude. These players, man, they seem serious. Watching the Caleb Downs to Business podcast, all the interviews, all that. These guys, they seriously do, man. They seem locked in big time. Mays, thank you so much for the $2. You should be upset. You're going to be more upset tomorrow. Mike Green, thanks for the $1.99. The TCU game versus Scum showed how cheating backfired. It absolutely did, man. It absolutely did, and I loved it. What's up, Johnny Oldman? No, I mean, thanks for the $2, Johnny, but not tomorrow, young man. Terry, thank you so much for the $9.99. Appreciate you, brother. Clueless something, thank you so much. If one of our coaches had done that, he would have been ran out of this town as fast as possible. 100%. One coach did something maybe 1/1000th at that level, and he got let go from the entire place. So it's absolute just, I mean, this whole situation, it's almost hard to believe like it's reality. It still feels like a dream that they did everything they did. The NCAA puts in there. In this case, it is required to have a postseason ban and vacations, whatever it said. It said required. So I guess the NCAA is changing definitions of words now. They need to get a hold of Webster's and let them know required doesn't mean required anymore or something. They're blooming idiots too, man. P. Barry, thanks so much for the $5. If anyone's concerned about the refs, is anyone concerned about the refs wanting to get the big 4 teams in? I just jumped in, so I'll rewatch it, but I wanted to ask that question. Yo. Not so much, but obviously this is Ohio State. I mean, stats don't lie. We don't get holding calls. We don't get pass interference calls. When you have the best wide receivers in the nation, it's laughable the amount of passing interference calls that we get in our favor, holding calls as well. We just know the history of this game. I promise you, they are going to be holding our defensive line like crazy tomorrow. I don't put any faith in officials. I expect the officials to totally screw us tomorrow in every type of way. That is my expectation, and I'm very confident that's going to happen. They are going to try to absolutely screw us. I firmly believe that. Clueless, thank you so much for the $2. If you need someone to come on, I am free. Clueless, I really appreciate that. You can follow the show. I always put the link in the chat, or not always, but every once in a while. More than happy to have people come on here. This is a fan show ran by fans for fans. So appreciate everybody that's been in the chat the entire time. Mike Green again, my dude. Scum fake boycotted Chipotle for the exit time. I seen that, bro. Chipotle. Promise you, I'm eating there every time I see one now. Y'all are the goats, but you shouldn't have deleted that tweet. You should have kept it up, stood on business, man. M's are clearly the worst letter in the alphabet. I don't even know why we have them. Get rid of the damn things. They're stupid looking anyway. Take up too much space. O's are way better. I mean, an O versus an M. Are we serious? An O's a circle. It's very simple. M's, you got to go up, then freaking down, then freaking up, then freaking down again. The dumbest stuff I've ever seen in my life. M's are stupid. Chris Lane, thank you so much for the $5. Just because, Dev, we got this. Ohio against the world. I believe that is it. If you are in the chat and you super chatted and I did not read it, you now have 30 seconds to let me know in the chat, because I got about 30 seconds of breath left in me. It's going on 3 hours and 7 minutes of YouTubing. Dennis, you remember what? The M's, how stupid they are? Yeah, think about that. If that's what you talk about, M's are seriously stupid. I mean, ridiculous. It's an upside down W. What are you doing? I mean, it should have made it different. Make it a different letter or something like that. All right, y'all. Hey, guys. It's time. It's time. It really is. I'm stoked. I'm going to try to go to sleep tonight in all seriousness. Literally went out and bought myself a brand new 75-inch TV. Went and bought Tank. Where'd you at, Tank? Went and bought a whole surround sound system. Like, I went ham. I went crazy. Probably shouldn't have done it. No, that's a lie. I totally should have done it. I am just stoked. But guys, I appreciate your support so much. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm just now remembering the trivia questions that I promised. Please forgive me. I literally completely forgot. I will make up for it. We're going to do a post-game show tomorrow. Remind me, I owe you guys two $50 trivia questions. I'm sorry. This is not, it's pretty difficult to orchestrate everybody in the timing. I just completely forgot. So again, apologize. Please forgive me for that. Hit the like button on your way out. Hit the subscribe button on both channels if you could. Scoop and Buckeye Boys. Go over to Apple Podcasts. Get us a like button. Hit up the Scoop message board if you're not part of it. On that note, love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Go Buckeyes. OH.